Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Production value, Nick, the brand new intro. I don't think we played it yesterday, right? Today is the debut. New quotes.
Season 2.
Season 2.
I wish I'd have known how to listen to it.
You can catch this on Netflix, by the way. And the new logo alert behind us. Look at that Go Hour. Look at that.
How about that?
Look at that. This is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And the Go Hour is presented by the warehouse at CC Creations. Olin Buchanan. Now we start breaking down the team. The opponent.
Yeah. And you know what?
I don't think you liked my comment. You were just like,
No. Well, you had to clarify with the opponent. I don't think, and I mean this sincerely, I don't think that A&M could have a better opening opponent.
Okay.
It's perfect.
I'm intrigued. I'm going to tell you why I think that. Okay. They are good enough that you have to really be focused and play well.
Uh-huh.
But a game, if you play well, you should win comfortably.
That's true. And also this.
I love being right.
Let me ask you this.
And I'm going to answer.
Where do you think A&M is, I don't want to call it weakest because it's season.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
But where is A&M most
vulnerable?
Vulnerable, or where's the biggest question?
Okay, I'm going to say I have evolved my thinking from last season to now.
Okay.
But based on the questions from last year, their pass defense.
And what does UTSA do best?
Well, I read your column yesterday. They are the 11th best passing team in the country.
They were last year.
Yeah.
And they got 4 of their top 5 receivers back, as well as their starting quarterback, of course, Olin McCown. So they can throw it.
They can sling it.
And it's a great test for A&M to open up with.
Yep. But, I'm going to say but, it is a great test, and it might be tighter than I want it to be. I think that defense is in shambles. In shambles because they lost a lot of dudes that are just aged out. They've moved on. I think it was 11 new starters at Coach Elko or new players on that defense. And when they've taken on SEC opponents in the past, SEC opponents have had their way. I think a couple years ago, Texas played them tight for a half and then took over. But
last year, Texas destroyed them.
Yeah, last year, Texas, I think 49-14, something like that.
Yeah, but when you're a mid-major program like that, it's not uncommon unless you're Boise, and even Boise to some degree, to have those doing well, okay,
yep.
Reset,
doing well,
reset. And
yep.
I think last year was their reset year.
I mean, he's had an 11-win season, a 10-win season, a 9-win season. Last year was considered a down year. They won 7 games.
What's funny is that both their starting linebackers, A&M wanted bad. In fact, one of them actually signed with A&M.
Shad Banks.
And then the other, Blackshirt.
Yeah.
From Duncanville. I remember just seeing him, his recruiting profile and just the way he was built and thinking, oh, man, I hope the Aggies get him. He goes to Alabama.
Right.
He's at UTSA.
I don't think – sorry.
There's another guy that A&M, a defensive tackle, that A&M out of San Antonio. A&M, I think he was committed to A&M, and now he's playing for UTSA.
Another name that we'll know that I don't think we'll see this weekend is John Emery, the running back, who's been dealing with some issues. He played at LSU for many years.
Right. I've seen him score touchdowns against A&M.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be playing this weekend.
Their leading rusher is back, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think his name Henry.
That's right. Yes,
yeah.
Henry.
Like
they got
Robert
2.
Henry.
They have 2. They feel really good about this young running back as well.
So they're a good offensive team. Yeah, like you said, there's some questions about their defense, and quite frankly, I think A&M is going to score on everybody.
Will they stop everybody though?
That's the question, and that's why I say this is a perfect opening game. give you a good idea.
Now, I'm going to press you on that. They're going to. You think they're going to score on everybody, right?
Yeah, I think they're going to be an explosive offense.
I agree, but
if healthy.
If healthy. But I'm going to counter with, but what about when they played elite defenses last year?
Well, elite defenses. Well, again, I said when healthy, and when you play elite defenses, yeah, you're not going to score as frequently, right? But I think you're still going to be able to score enough to win games. Now, can you stop them from winning games?
Well, but I guess when you took on Notre Dame last year, and there was a lot of things going on that day, you couldn't move the ball. Well, you could move the ball, you couldn't score. Texas, you moved the ball early, you moved the ball late, but you didn't score.
Mm-hmm.
You got to punch it in.
Yeah,
and I think Le'Veon makes a big difference against. I think he makes a difference in the Texas game if he's there.
I think he makes. I don't know if they'll beat Texas. I don't know if they've beaten South Carolina, but I think he makes a difference in both those games if he plays.
Would you like to hear from Jeff Traylor?
Yeah, sure. He's an East Texas guy like me, up around there, up in Upshur County, Gilmer. Buckeyes.
I saw people say he sounds like Olin.
Well, that'll be interesting. I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Olin with regular voice?
Regular voice Olin,
okay.
Yeah. R-O-B, regular Olin Buchanan.
All right.
I should have used the voice in there. Here's Robert Traylor talking about Mike Elko and what A&M is building.
I think Mike, his roots are cut from defense, and it looks like a team you would expect to be coached by Mike Elko. They're very good up front defensively. They did a really good job in the transfer portal. They lost some really good defensive linemen, but they went and got some more, and they developed some as well. So they're very physical and sound. They keep the middle of the field closed quite a bit, and they're really good on defense. Offensively, they do a really good job with their quarterback, who I think's a really good football player. Did a really good job in the portal again. Went and got 2 really good wide receivers to add. With Bussy, who we think the world of out there, and running back a staple full. They do a good job with their scheme. They know what they want to do, and they stick to their plan. And obviously, they got very good special teams as well. They're a really good football team, and playing in probably the coolest environment in the entire country.
Best part of the soundbite right there.
First of all, I felt like I just went home.
Yeah.
With that, I'm loving that.
Your brother, Jeff Traylor.
Secondly, well, he's from Gilmer, White Oak. They got a thing.
They got
a thing.
Throw out the record books.
But secondly, no lies told, unlike some people here.
Some people here
have been known to lie.
Oh, you're talking about former coaches? Is that what you're getting at?
No. Oh. No, nobody of that importance.
Luke Evangelist?
Oh, Lion Luke Evangelist, yeah. Lion Luke.
Let's hear from Coach Elko now on UTSA. So we got props from Traylor on the Ags, and I liked how you talked about the environment, which is true.
It's true.
Right?
No lies told.
Now, Elko is going to give UTSA props. This is called the Prop Up Show.
Yes.
Let's prop them up.
They bring back 4 of the 5 starters on the offensive line, and so this offense is really talented. They were humming at the end of the year last year. They got off to a little bit of a slow start, but by the end of the year, they were putting points up on everybody, and so we expect to have our hands full and this to be a challenge. Defensively, it is all new. It is 11 new starters. They went into the transfer portal hard for a lot of them, and so we're watching a lot of film from a lot of different places, from other colleges, from junior colleges, from high schools, to try to get a feel for personnel-wise. It's probably one of the most challenging personnel deals we've ever been through, where you're trying to piece together who you expect to be on the field and trying to get some feel for what their skill set is. There are 2 names that stand out at linebacker for them. Kendrick Blackshire and Shadrick Banks obviously are 2 kids that we're very familiar with from recruiting, or obviously Shad having been here when I was here as the defensive coordinator. They added 6 DB transfers from other colleges and junior colleges. They've added a few D-line transfers, and so trying to figure out what they're going to be on defense is a challenge. But again, like everything, this is going to be our ability to come out and play our football the way we know how.
If I remember correctly, Shad Banks left before I got to TexAgs. I think it was the spring of 21 or somewhere in that range. Do you remember why he left?
No, I don't remember exactly why. I remember
he was an early.
He came here as a receiver, right? And then there was talk about him being a linebacker, and next thing you know, he's leaving. and playing
Goes to
linebacker at TCU.
We go to the national championship game that year.
Kind of wish they hadn't, I guess.
Yeah.
He
mentioned about their offense humming. I'm going to tell you let me tell you about their offense. In the bowl game, they scored 44 on Coastal Carolina. They did a week prior, or a few weeks prior, I should say, against Army. They only scored 24. They lost 29-24.
Army was a good team.
Yeah, Army was 21st in the country when they played. UTSA scored 51 against Temple. They scored 48 against North Texas. They scored 44 against a ranked Memphis team.
Yeah.
45 against Tulsa. They ended up losing that game. And they scored 38 against Florida Atlantic. So, yeah, the offense was humming.
Yeah, I mean, again, a perfect matchup for A&M. Because if you got things to work on still, it's going to be most magnified.
Yep.
And if not, then you can come out and say, okay, feel really good about where you're going with that defense.
Yesterday is an example of me loving what I'm hearing about the defense and applying too much love to my analysis.
Okay.
So there was a question that Luke read from somebody. What was more likely, A&M to score 40 plus or for A&M to keep UTSA to 14 or under, right?
Yep.
And I was like, 14 or under. I don't think that's right. And I knew UTSA's offense was good before I made that comment, but I think I was, this defense is going to be. I wanted to believe everything. And the reality is, we'll have to wait and see. I do think the offense will score 40. UTSA's offense is really good. I think they're not going to. I don't think they're going to score more than 24 points on A&M. I think I rescind my. That's not the right way to phrase it. I take back my thoughts. Rescind
would work.
Yeah, it's not an offer though. I rescind my thoughts.
Well, you can rescind other things.
Yeah, I'm rescinding my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you that you should, because again, I think A&M is going to score 40 points in a lot of games this year. So, and I think this will be one of them.
How about both happen?
That would be optimal.
That would make me happy.
And then I'd come away. Yeah, you might even be smiling before halftime.
Like Luke. He's got a great smile, though, doesn't he? Anyway, this is TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Usually, we're hanging out right over there at the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
We're not at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone right now because of the new logo.
Because it's unveiling things. So.
Yep.
And I think Nick wanted to get the shot.
Yeah, look at that. I'm going to put my hand
Go Hour.
Presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. If you want to be a part of the conversation, Olin will tell you all about it.
The conversation?
Yeah, you want to be a part of it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Aggies football.
No, but if you want to be a part of it.
Well, you mean are you
yes.
Are you asking me to point out that the hotline is brought to you by Buppy's Catering and Bartending? Is that what
I wasn't even thinking that.
Or do you just want me to talk about how you can call at the number 979-693-1150? Which one will you want?
And you can also text the show, by the way.
You can text at the same number, I believe.
Yeah, at that same number. And let's see what else. Buppy's Catering and Bartending, by the way.
Yeah.
They may be making an appearance one day this week here.
Oh, that'd be great.
Huh. There's a rumor that they may make an appearance.
Does that mean they're going to bring food?
I can't answer that on the air.
Okay.
But, I mean, if they accidentally bring food,
I'll eat it.
I might sample it. Right? And if they don't, I'll think about it. Still around the room, left to right to say hi to the people. Behind the glass is Nick Savage. Nick, good morning, buddy.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy with how everything looks. Looks good to me, I think. And did you know it's the 1-year anniversary of TexAgs Live? We unveiled the whole new studio and all of our new toys this time last year. So good day to debut the new graphic. Season 2, like I said.
Season 2.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the studio.
It's safe.
TexAgs Live.
And by the way, I don't smell the dead animal, so I think we're good.
I don't think there ever was any. Well, maybe there was, but I never smelled it.
According to Luke, it was your eggs.
Yeah, see, that's why I call him Lion Luke Evangelist, because he brought, Billy is asking about that, and he said, well, it didn't even have eggs. So, Luke, I hope Luke never first of all, I hope I'm not ever in a police lineup, and Luke's the guy, because Luke will just point out, because he lies.
He'll lie about it.
I hope Luke never becomes like a state trooper, because based on the way Luke was presenting it yesterday, he would be like, pull you over. Hey, you're going 75. No, I wasn't. I've got my cruise control at 55. Oh, I didn't say now, but you went 75. When? Well, I don't know, but I know you went 75, So I think what Luke should do in a career is, I think he should get into politics and probably move out to California, because they have senators that lie and say things that they don't know anything about.
Redistricting Luke. Tell us something good, buddy.
Well, are you two doing anything to celebrate your anniversary?
The anniversary?
It is 1 year of TexAgs Live. Right?
Well, that's just us. That's
if y'all
everybody.
Is someone taking someone out to dinner? Like, who got someone flowers?
Again, that's not us. That's everybody. That's TexAgs Live.
That's the difference between
you
us.
understand that there's 3 hours to this show.
Right.
And there are other people that appear on it.
He's deflecting.
You deflected first.
I'm deflecting by telling the truth. Once again, some of us have no problems with the truth. Others struggle with it.
Lion Luke Evangelist at the Aggie Elephant News and Social Center. What do you have for this morning? And if you tell me something good about volleyball, I'll smile.
Okay, yeah, I was going to lead with basketball and maybe a non-conference schedule, but I'll start with the big news of the day, and that was A&M volleyball taking down number 11 Minnesota last night 3-1. They beat them in 4 sets in the AVCA first serve event in Sioux Falls. Efena Kazakpala moved into the top 10 all-time at A&M in blocks with 367 in the first set. Not all in the first set, but she did it in the first set throughout her career. Logan Lednicki had a good set. Yeah, it was a great set.
Blocking them like that.
Logan Lednicki had 22 kills, which was her 22nd consecutive match with double-digit kills. She had a hitting percentage of 42.1% and was named match MVP. Morgan Perkins had 15 kills off the bench, and Maddie Walk had 51 assists. And next up, A&M is traveling to Houston this weekend to play Rice and Central Arkansas. A big-time statement win for Jamie Morrison in year 3.
I was impressed. I was not surprised.
You were impressed, not surprised. I was as well. I watched a little bit of that last night, and we should have Jamie in studio tomorrow. So looking forward to catching up with him.
I'm wishing them. We all are wishing them all the success. Maybe this could actually be a national championship team.
Just make this the fall of championships.
Fall of championships.
Yeah. Would you wear that shirt?
Sure.
Hopefully not fall. Hopefully fall.
You mean autumn.
Yeah.
Autumn of championships.
Autumn of championships.
Just to make, clarify, let's call it the autumn.
Right, so let's win the SEC.
Win it all.
In football.
Win it.
Win it all. In volleyball. In soccer, everything.
Win it.
And in food. Let's win it.
Oh, in food. Well,
it's already won. It's like the Jordan era. It's the Brady era.
Yeah, it's like Alabama, but it's Texas barbecue. It's 1775.
Brad and Brandon, are they Saban-like?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're very tough on everybody who works
No,
there.
the only thing that's tough, I mean, that would be the only thing
is
tough.
making a choice.
Yeah, because the meat is so tender. It's never tough, especially that succulent brisket. I love those pork ribs. I like that jalapeno cheese sausage. You like the turkey.
I look, I'm going to be very honest with you. If there was an NFL draft of the food, right, I would go unconventional, and I would draft a carb right away.
Oh, the
I would draft
queso mac and cheese.
I would draft it first.
Man,
and I love everything else, but it would be my Tim Duncan, my Akeem Olajuwon.
That is an honest moment.
Yeah, I'm honest about things.
Some of us are. No lie. This is the best barbecue you're going to get in town. 1775. No lies told.
1775txbbq.com is the website. Call them up 979-492-6241. It is 1775.
It's good.
Hey everyone, David Nuño and Olin Buchanan and OB. Typically, we start off the show in this section, and we call it the Holistic Planning Cool
The cool zone. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What do we know about holistic planning?
Well, a lot of cool stuff. For instance, holistic planning can help you with your investments.
I love that.
They can help you with your taxes. So
I don't like paying taxes.
You can get that money from your investments and they keep it. They'll help you keep it away from the government.
Yep.
Not all of it, but more of it. And then they'll even help you with your estate planning. When you're old like me, you got to make sure some of that money you made is there for when you want to retire and just enjoy the rest of your life.
You want your estate to be planned. But they also do something else.
Yeah, well, if you are, like, say, a sports fan, and you've always wanted
to... everybody watching us, right?
Yeah. And you want to always dreamed of being an owner? Well, in a certain way you can, because they will broker the deal for you to invest in pro sports.
Yeah, what you need to do is check out investinprosports.com. That's where you can get all the information if you want to invest in a team. I don't know what team. He'd probably try to buy the Cowboys. I'd try to buy a lot of the Houston teams. Whatever it may be, investinprosports.com. It is holistic planning, and we love hanging out at the Holistic Planning Cool Zone. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. OB, I think this is going to be a really easy performance of the week.
Okay.
Luke already gave us the particulars.
Yeah, of course.
But let's just do it, because, I mean, we don't have... well, I mean, you could say Aggie soccer for fighting some late goals. We're going to talk to Coach G a little bit later.
I mean,
Trinity Buchanan, his cousin.
Yeah, 3 goals in 3 straight games. You know, they lost to UConn 6-0 last year, and then they beat them 2-1 this year. So
and
that doesn't show improvement.
The second biggest crowd at Ellis.
Yeah, and I think it was like top 10.
10th largest crowd in NCAA soccer history for women's soccer.
Unbelievable.
And the second biggest crowd at Ellis.
They're
it was
packing
awesome.
Ellis.
So we've got Trinity Buchanan as an option. That defense was really good, by the way. Nick, you were at that game, right?
Yeah, Taylor Jernigan is the one who scored the go-ahead goal in the 86th minute. So another option there.
Sophomore, she looked really good. All right, now junior now. I think actually, I'm sorry. I think she's a junior now. OB, let's give Logan Lednicki her props.
Logan Lednicki.
24 points, 22 kills, 2 blocks, 12 digs, while hitting at a 421%. And earn her, as Luke said, MVP honors of the match.
And how about the girl with like 378 blocks in one set?
Yeah, I'm
Afena?
I mispresented that. She accomplished it. She reached that milestone in the first set, but it was throughout her career.
Throughout her career.
Yeah. And by the way, just to put into perspective how impressive that 42% hitting percentage was, if Logan hit that for the entire year, she would be 10th in the NCAA last year.
Wow. Okay. Good stuff. OB, let's look into the future.
Okay.
A week from today, we'll be doing our performance of the week,
Yeah.
which hopefully includes a lot of A&M football players as well.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So if today you had to guess or predict who will be the performance of the week, give me one on each side of the ball. Who are you giving me?
Okay. I'm going to say Marcel Reed.
Okay. I thought you were going to go there.
If you take him out and say that's too Casey Concepcion, I think he's going to make a big, grandiose, debut.
Okay.
And then on defense, I think it's going to be Cassius Howell.
Okay. I knew you were going there because I was going there.
Oh yeah.
But I'll flip the role.
Okay, flip the role.
I think Mario Craver is going to have a 60-plus yard touchdown in this game.
All right. I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. That's what I'm going to think. And because of that, I'm going to say he'll be on here. And then on the defensive side, I'm going Des Ricks.
Okay.
He says last bowl game sucked for A&M and for him personally was not up to his standard. He's worked on it. He's thought about it all offseason. He's going to come away with a pick and just looking really good.
I'll say this. If you're right on that, that's going to be one of those things that you're going to say, hey, that's a good offense, and this guy played really well, and that's going to be one of those things that gives you a spike in confidence for this team because that's an area of concern. And if a guy comes out and plays really well or great, what you're suggesting, then all of a sudden that corner opposite Will Lee, you don't have as much angst about.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, Billy was on the show yesterday. He talked about Julio Humphreys, and he's looked really good. Like, I think the Tyreek Chappelle domino in this whole thing and the growth of others just gives me a lot more, all right, I think we're going to be okay on the back end.
I've got to see it with the safeties.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the safety struggled. I think everybody thinks the safety struggled. So I got to see it with the safeties. But, plug holes as they come up. And one of the holes that's got to be plugged was that corner opposite Will Lee. So if you're right on that, then, that's a significant improvement, significant sign of progress. That could be a symptom of a championship caliber season.
So you predicting Cassius Howell to be on this performance?
Yeah, I think he's going to go, I think he's going to get into the backfield, and I think he's going to harass Owen McCown.
So, because I remember, I was so stupid. I thought that Nick Scorton was going to have like 3 sacks against Notre Dame. I think I called for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten to a point where I'm going to pause on like these ridiculous, predictions. Although I don't think it was ridiculous. I thought Notre Dame's offensive line heading into it was questionable. They turned out to be not questionable.
Well, if you'll recall, if Notre Dame threw the ball, and I don't remember how many times Riley Leonard threw it.
It wasn't much, and it was quick.
But let's see, if he threw it 24 times, 18 of them were 3-step drops.
Right.
So nobody was going to get to him.
Yeah, but that goes into what should have been in my analysis, right? I'd like to know, when we talk to the insider from UTSA a little bit later, I'm going to ask him, how long does Owen McCown allow plays to develop? Is it a three-step drop and then quickly releasing it? Is it more traditional? So I'll ask him about that.
Didn't he throw for 3,800 yards. I don't think you're getting those kind of, and I may be overselling it, 3,800, 36 maybe?
34.
34. I don't think you're throwing for over 3,000 yards if you're constantly throwing three-step outs.
Let's hit a break here. We'll come back. Charean the Dream.
All right.
All right, Charean the Dream. Twin Liquors time, your local home for wine, spirits, and good vibes with over 100 locations throughout Central Texas. The dollar sale is almost here. The dollar sale is here, actually, by the way. It's 3 days only. The Twin Liquor dollar sale is Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at all Twin Liquor locations. It's called dollar sale because they drop the price on all wine and spirits to the absolute lowest, then they add $1. It's your chance to enjoy unbelievable savings on all wines and spirits. They've got tequilas, whiskeys, vodka, and craft cocktail spirits. A selection of Twin has built over 4 generations. The dollar sale is their way of saying thank you for shopping at a Texas family-owned Twin Liquors location. Don't miss the dollar sale ending at 9 p.m. on Saturday. It is Twin Liquors. You want to go check them out. Go visit twinliquors.com.
Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right.
Making it scary. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Go R. You knew that, right?
I did.
Yeah.
It says so right there.
Yeah. Presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. All right, let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Charean the Dream Williams joining us, Pro Football Talks Best, and of course an Aggie and a Hall of Famer. Charean, good morning.
Hi, how are we doing today? It's football week.
I feel like this Monday and Tuesday, it didn't feel like the Mondays. It was a really exciting Monday for me. Today I still feel good because it is exactly that football week. We'll have Aggies playing here in a couple days. You excited?
Last night I was sitting there thinking this is the last Monday night we will have without football until 2026. It was both exciting and depressing because when you have to cover every Monday night game, your Mondays and your Sundays and your Saturdays are all taken. But that's okay because we love football. So, but yeah, it's a long time till I get a weekend off. But it's all good because it's football. We love watching football.
Yeah, in this business, it's important to have an understanding spouse that gets the job. And I know we do, and I know Charean does. Hey, Charean, I know there's two teams that are very close to your heart: Texas A&M Aggies, the Dallas Cowboys. Which of those teams have the best chance to appear in a playoff this year?
That's a tough one. I think they've probably got about the same chance, to be honest, and that's 50-50 at this point. I think both of them are kind of right there on the cusp of, one loss or one win away from getting in, and they're close. They're both really close, but to say which one has a better chance, I don't know if I could actually do that. I think they've got about the equal chance right now of getting in, and I give them a 50-50 chance at this point of getting in. I think they're both have a lot of talent on their rosters, but it's a matter of getting it done when it matters most against a really good team. Can you do that consistently? The Cowboys obviously can have more losses than the Aggies can to be able to get in the postseason, so that probably helps them. And there's more playoff teams.
Charean, earlier OB called UTSA maybe a perfect opponent for A&M to start off with because they're very good offensively, yet it's a game that A&M should be able to manage, not the right word.
Win,
and hopefully convincingly. What do you think about the matchup?
I'm nervous about it. I have to be honest. Just the way we started out so slow in recent seasons, I hope that's not the case in this one. And I'm sitting there in the first half going, what are we doing? Because that's kind of typical of these early season matchups against these teams you feel like you should dominate. So I will feel really, really good after this game if we go in and we're somewhere around that point spread. Last I saw was 22.5. If we're somewhere 3 touchdowns, 3 scores better than UTSA after this game, I'll feel really good. This is a quality opponent, and I hope they're taking them seriously, and I think with Mike Elko they will be. But, you got to come out and you got to start hot. You got to establish things at the beginning, and there's really no leeway in this game to start out cold. So it's going to be a test, and it's going to be an early test.
What are you most confident in or optimistic in concerning this Texas A&M football team, and what are you most concerned or unsure about?
I'm most unsure about Marcel Reed. Heard he's improved. He's going to have a good year. They're going to be surprised because of Marcel. We haven't seen it on the field yet. Just in practice and getting in games, we all know is different. So has he taken that next step? That's probably what I'm most unsure of. I think he's ultra talented player who has the potential to be really, really good. But is he going to take that next step? We've seen that some players do it, some players don't do it. So hope we see it with him. I'm optimistic the offensive line will be better this season, and the defense will be better. I think both of those things are going to be better this season than what we saw last season.
Talking to Charean Williams here on TexAgs Live. Charean, we got a message on the TexAgs Super Chat. I think it was Cat Ag. I might be wrong here, but asking what we thought about the Netflix series on the Cowboys. I've watched only a couple episodes. OB, you've watched 2 episodes?
I've watched the whole thing.
Oh, you've watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Charean, have you watched any of it?
I kept looking for Charean on it.
Yeah?
I haven't seen the whole thing yet. It's terrific. They did a really good job with it. I think it makes Jerry Jones more likable for the people who didn't like him. He's a great businessman, as we've always said, the best owner in the NFL, probably the worst GM in the NFL. But I just think this probably makes him a little more likable to some people who didn't know him. If you know him and you have a relationship with him, and I think I do, I got him to call me about a month ago. So, if you have that relationship with him, you know what a genuine person he is and how much he cares. And you like him. He's likable. And I think this shows up on the Netflix series of how likable he is. Now, you can hate him as a GM, I get that. But as a person, I think he's a very likable person.
I'd like him a lot more if he'd get Micah Parsons signed. What's going on with all that?
Well, last one now, Trey Hendrickson signed a one-year deal, a revised deal, got a big raise up to $30 million for this season. He'll become a free agent after this year, and that leaves Micah Parsons as the only player holding in. And the problem for them, Obi, as you know, is they start next Thursday. So they now have a week of practice, and it's just not enough time. Even if he were to get signed in the next few days, it's just not enough time. I don't know if he's going to come back to practice. He didn't practice yesterday, but is he going to come back to practice and try to get a weekend? Is he going to cite that back injury and continue to sit out? Or are they going to get a deal done? I think they'll get a deal done. I think in the next week, I think they will have a deal done. But it's way too late to expect him to come in and play a full game and be really good in that. We saw it with CeeDee Lamb in the first 6 games last year. Go back and look at his stats. He wasn't that good in the first 6 games, and that's how long it took. And that's what training camp is. It's 6 weeks. So we're talking about, 4 to 6 weeks for Micah Parsons to get his feet back under him once he gets back out there. I do think we get a deal. I just don't think it's going to be in enough time for him to really help in these first 4 games like he should help. I'm not saying he won't help, but his snaps are going to be limited. We all know that.
Talking to Charean Williams here on TexAgs Live. All right, Charean, Texans. I guess if Olin would have asked you about A&M, the Cowboys, and the Texans, I think you would feel pretty good about the Texans making the playoffs. But that offensive line is still kind of an issue, right?
Yeah, I think they're really happy with Ursery, how he's done over there at left tackle. And, they're looking to maybe trade Cam Robinson, who they signed, the veteran who they signed, to play left tackle, and he got beaten out of that, so he's going to be a backup. If it's me, I'm not signing any good offensive lineman. I'm not trading any good offensive linemen. I want as many good offensive linemen as I can possibly have. I think the Cowboys are really good, especially in the interior with those backups. I'm not trading those backups. I want those good offensive line. You're going to have injuries in the offensive line, and you want those backups to come in, as we've seen with A&M. You just got to have guys ready to play for you, and those positions are so important to a football team. If you can't block anybody, which the Texans found out last year, they still got to the postseason, but they could have gone farther if they had a good offensive line. They nearly got Stroud killed. So I do think their offensive line is going to be better. The question is, how much better is it going to be? Is it going to be good enough for them to do more than what they did last season to protect C.J. Stroud? He took a step back, but I think a big reason he took a step back was because of that offensive line.
Charean, great stuff. We'll talk to you after hopefully a big A&M victory on the weekend, over the weekend.
Thank you, guys, and gig 'em.
Thank you. Charean the Dream Williams.
Love that lady.
She's the best, isn't she?
I could sit around and talk football with her all day.
Yeah, she's fantastic. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Did you hear who we're going to have on the show for a few minutes?
I've heard of several people.
Well, in the next segment, we have Bronny.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta put him on.
Talk about all his B-team shenanigans.
Wait, that's a thing? That's a real thing?
Yeah, that's a real thing.
We're going to talk about the B team that debuts later on today. I believe it's today, right? Yeah, we'll talk about B team. Right now, if you're looking for an opportunity to move back to Aggie Land, or you are already in Aggie Land, check out the Association of Former Students. They have a lot of positions open from time to time, from fundraising to marketing to sales to communications, you name it. And they are a great place to go work. If you want to try to get back to Aggie Land, this is the place to look first. The nation's premier alumni association and the oldest organization supporting A&M, and they play a part in every Aggie story from Howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out the association with Howdy Socials, Aggie Ring Day, class reunions, and Aggie Muster, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. If you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students. And we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo. Where am I looking? There we go. Rollo Insurance Studio. Here it is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. And Ryan Broninger is in studio.
Good morning. Good morning.
I thought it was Johnny Cash with all that black.
It looks like...
Oh, well, let's not get on your attire.
What's wrong with it?
You're some cross between Robert Cessna and Charlie Sheen.
Okay.
I think somebody did that joke earlier, no?
Yeah, I really appreciated that when my sister-in-law gave me this as a gift.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Guilt trip. Here's the guilt trip.
It's not
Make me feel bad.
Telling the truth.
Make me feel bad.
Thank you, Dilby. I appreciate it. It was nice.
What's her name?
Dilbia.
Dilbia. That's an interesting name. Never heard that name before.
I hadn't either. Hadn't heard it since either. But that's her name, and she gave me this shirt as a...
Good morning, David. Why are you looking at me like that?
Well, Bronny, there's a couple things that I'm thinking of. First off, you look like you are going to go to baseball practice, which is good. I'm defending my guy.
I'll dress this way every day.
I know, and he dresses like that every day. And secondly, it's like you're like an MC at a wedding after party. Like right now.
You know, I used to DJ. legitimately used
on the
to
ones and twos.
I didn't spin, but back then, so it would have been like mid to late 2000s when I'd gone off to. I actually learned it. My older cousin DJ'd in Southeast Texas, proms, dances, weddings, that kind of stuff. So I learned how to do it, and that was you had a mixer and you had to pop in CDs. Now I wasn't scratching everything, but you had to kind of line up the songs and all that kind of stuff, figure out your amp situation, mess with the knobs up and down. But so I have DJ'd before, and I did a bunch of like after Nederland High School, I did their after football games, so they keep the kids off the road. This guy, I'm telling you, there's something wrong with him. I don't know how you do this every morning. He's grinning and laughing at me. I'm not even done with my story yet. But Nederland High School used to hire me to do their post-home football game dances because they didn't want the kids running the roads after the football game. So they would invite them in the school cafeteria. And at this time, I was playing college baseball, so I would drive. I'd get done with practice on Friday, whether I was in junior college or at McNeese, and I would drive to Nederland, and I would do the football games. And I've done probably close to 10 weddings, stuff like that.
I think it'd be a good idea for the TexAgs tailgate, which, by the way, more information on that, but it's this weekend.
Oh, I would be. Here's a problem with that, though.
Nobody wants to hear his music.
No, they would, and they'd be calling the police because we'd have people taking clothes off. It'd be that kind of party.
Wait a second. When did you become Nelly?
Huh?
When did you become Nelly?
Well, it's hot in early season. It's going to be hot, and when the music I'm playing, people get moving. You know how that goes.
What songs would you play?
Well, I'd mix in some Bad Bunny for you.
Okay.
Some reggaeton.
So he'd be one of the guys taking his clothes off.
Well, he doesn't need much of a prompt, does he?
Have you ever seen me shirtless?
Well, they wear
Never.
tight enough clothes. We don't have to see you with your shirt off.
It's funny because Coach G saw me yesterday. He goes, "Oh, your shirt's kind of big." It was kind of So things happen.
You're cut.
I am in the middle of a cut. Hey, we've gone 3 minutes without talking about the headline here.
Yeah, why
First
am I
up,
here?
The logo behind you is fantastic.
It's awesome, isn't it? Stu Wade did such a good job. You want to cut over here? There we go. I feel like I'm the weatherman whenever I stand over here over the Cool Zone screen. But this is a cool
Holistic
logo.
Planning Cool Zone.
The B team was something. Obviously, whenever I fill in for radio hosting, whenever you're out, I just started calling it the B team, and it was Brian Buchanan in the morning, and we just kind of stuck with this B team theme throughout, and started talking to Billy and some folks here at TexAgs about, we wanted to make an impact in the afternoon. All of our stuff is typically done. Our live streams, your show's done at 11, and everything else that we interact with our subscribers and the fan base with is is on the message board only. And we're putting out content and that kind of stuff, but we don't have any live shows in the afternoon. So we wanted to kind of try to tackle this space or get into this space. And so Billy came to me about this afternoon show idea, and today we start.
So explain to the people what's going to be different about.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a kind of run-on from TexAgs Live, it's not going to be that. In fact, we're going out of our way to make it very different because this is the show where you tune in and it's all about A&M sports for 3 hours, 15 hours a week. What we're going to do starting at 4:15 on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and about an hour and a half show, is we want to do a top-of-mind sports show. There may be some A&M elements to it, obviously, with stuff going on now with the college football season kicking off, but we want to make this fun. Like, we're going to dive into some bits. We're going to do top-of-mind sports discussion, whatever's going on in the sports world. I'm thinking about doing some fun stuff where maybe we do some eating challenges while we're on the air. So it's supposed to be like winding down your day, have a little fun, crack a laugh. We want it to be interactive. We're going to have like people coming in and out. Richard's going to be with me for a lot of them. I think Luke will be a part of them.
Oh, he'll be here.
The producer.
He'll be here.
It's supposed to be a more fun show. So if you're looking
So you're saying we're not fun.
Yeah,
That's how I took it.
Well, you're toxic. And so different people judge toxicity in different levels. And whenever you get that guy over there in that chair, it only ramps up because I heard the conversation yesterday morning. Hey, listen, we might eat boiled eggs on the show, Olin. And if we do, I'll save the yolks for Buck.
For Buck. You'd appreciate that.
And listen, I don't think the studio smelt funny.
I think Luke does.
Brian, we're excited about the show. It kicks off this afternoon.
Today.
If you have YouTube, look, if you're driving home, get on YouTube. Don't look at your YouTube. Just listen to it through YouTube or TexAgs.com.
Yeah, TexAgs. It'll be streamed on the site and it'll be streamed on the YouTube page. And we're looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun.
TexAgs app. Yeah. We have the Android app. We have the iPhone app, right? So different ways to.
We're going to talk about some of Nick's habits today.
Huh. Does he know that you're going to be talking about?
Oh, yeah. We already talked. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. Try to get him back on the straight and narrow.
By the way, those asking about Jim Turner, he will start doing hits on the show again next week. Looking forward to having Coach Turner in studio. But Bronny, looking forward to your show, man.
Thank you.
Thank you. See, I say nice things about you. You said I'm toxic because I want to be great at everything. When we come back, somebody who's great, Josh Pate. 9-3 Ags. We'll see. That's next on TexAgs. And we are back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance. Studio time for our weekly conversation with Josh Pate, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. As always, you find a lower price somewhere, Academy will beat it by 5% with their price guarantee. Get new gear for the new year at Academy today. Let's go straight to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Our buddy Josh Pate. Josh, you're a better man than me, obviously. But the guy who sent you that DM, I would have, and I'm not going to say what it said, okay? I would have done everything in my power to get on the black or underweb, what do they call it? The dark web, and found out information on that guy. People are mean, man. You just laughed it off.
Well, David, you'll notice that his profile didn't exist by the end of business yesterday. So who's to say I didn't do all of those things?
Good point.
The key to life, as Meemaw taught me, is to appear to be the big man on the surface while being the most petty small man imaginable behind the scenes. I have a working theory that was one of an army of bots that you see roaming about the Twitter sphere. But I did think that there was a lot of fun to be had with it. And so I had it. I think we've learned over the past few years, anyone who cowers to any kind of public pressure campaign on the internet is just setting themselves up for failure. Just say what you mean and stand behind it and let come what may.
I love that. Hey, and also, fitness guy here. How many times did you rep 225 the other day? Because I was quite impressed with that.
Which video was this? Sometimes I don't know they're recording me. Oh, the Barstool thing, or the Bussin' with the Boys thing. I don't know. I'll do it. I'll do it when we tease the next video, and I'll count. Because I'm doing my show. The building I'm doing my show out of has a full weight rack. The Bussin' studio has a full weight rack. So pretty much everywhere I'm doing content this fall I'm talking about a full Sorinex, Texas A&M weight room caliber weight rack. So we're good. These are not hotel gyms, David. This is not 50's the heaviest they go on dumbbells type vibes. We're in it to win it this season.
I was very impressed, by the way. I think that's something we need to talk to Lucci about, is putting a weight room in here. So if you do your show from here, you got a place.
I don't know why you haven't already. People made fun of Clemson, I guess 10 years ago now, because they did that huge upgrade of their facilities, but everyone said, where's the functionality? You put a slide in the building. Where's the functionality? Bama's got waterfalls. Where's the functionality? Well, you guys got bright, sparkling new digs there. Ask Lucci. In fact, this is going through you to him. I assume he'll be in work at some point this week. Where is the weight room? Where is the functionality? That's an open-ended question.
That's the next step. All right, so here, let's get to football. Game week. I personally feel energized. Like last week, 0 week, I felt good, but I really feel good with an A&M game this weekend. But I'm going to ask you, why does A&M go 9-3 this year? Give us your reasons. And some people think that's optimistic. Some people think that they could be even better than that.
Yeah, they're going to win close games. I trust them to be consistent. They're going to win close games, and they have the personnel on their roster to lean on people. Over a span of 4 quarters, I still believe that works. In fact, with the way defensive personnel is shaped and sized these days, I think maybe that strategy works more today than it did in the past. I don't think they're going to ask Marcel Reed to do things that he is not capable of doing. So I expect them and trust them to put him in a good position. I trust them to be complimentary enough. The receiver room's plenty good enough, working off of what should be one of the highest caliber ground games in the game this year. And not just the SEC, but the game, meaning the entire sport. Also, and this is more schedule related, but like you and I have talked about every time we've spoken over the entire summer, even though I'm wearing sleeves this morning in Nashville, I love that Notre Dame game being where it is. I love it having the profile that it does. I love in the context of this year that it played out the way it did last year. Because you got your bell rung a little bit last year at home, week 1. Now you kind of get to go up there. You're trying to return the favor. But more than that, you're trying to out Notre Dame. You're trying to do what they did last year better than they can do it. And you're going to go in their building and try and do that. So that'll be a good barometer. It's not a conference game, but that'll be a good barometer. I do not think that A&M, if they play to their full potential, is the kind of team that's going to grab a lot of folks' attention. Because I don't think what Elko is going to ask them to do this year is particularly flashy. I also don't think what he's going to ask them to do many other teams are capable of doing. You're talking about playing a brand of ball. Again, we talked about this last couple of weeks, that very few, if any, teams are capable of pulling off. But that's okay, because he's not asking them to do it today for the first time. They have built and they have conditioned and they've trained for this for a calendar year or more now. I'm just excited. I've got confidence in it, obviously, but I'm excited to see whether I'm right or not.
Josh, I said this to Billy yesterday. I have a lot of respect for Notre Dame, and I think Notre Dame is going to be a playoff team. But I am more concerned about Florida than I am Notre Dame. Am I crazy?
No, you're not. What week is that?
Florida, what week is that? It's like a 5th week, 6th week of the season. So mid-season, there we go. October 11th.
It's funny you mentioned that game. I was thinking about Texas, Florida in the same vein. but you could just as easily use Florida, Texas A&M. First off, it's a testament to the strength of Florida's schedule. They play both of them, and that's like 2 of that 7 or 8 top 25 opponents they play. But think about this. If I were to take a game the caliber of Texas A&M versus Florida, put it in the ACC schedule, it's one of the games of the year. I put it in the SEC schedule, I don't even think people know the game's going to happen this year. It's just lost in this ocean of elite matchups. They're not, the teams don't have to be elite, but it's an elite matchup. I don't know if Georgia and Alabama are elite. That's an elite matchup. So to get back to your question there, I get what you're saying, because what you're probably thinking is at their high end, Florida is a more dynamic team than Notre Dame. I may agree with you. I got them in the playoff, so there's no one that's touting Florida. I got both of those teams being playoff caliber teams. So no one needs to sell me on believing in Florida. It's the whole schedule thing that maybe is a hindrance, even if you do believe in them. But yeah, if DJ Lagway is an A- or better version of what he's capable of, they're also a team that if they play within the potential identity of themselves, they can run the ball on you. They can turn you over. They've got really dynamic athletic personnel in the front. The secondary is probably my biggest concern because they're very green there. They're ultra talented, but they're unproven. But Florida at their high end quite literally could win a national championship. If they get in the playoff especially, that means they were good enough to get there. And if they're good enough to get there, they are absolutely good enough to win it all. You could say that about Notre Dame as well. So it's 2 sides of the same coin to me, but yeah, I think a lot of people would scoff at you when you said that. I'm not scoffing at you.
Well, and I think part of my thinking is I recognize being at a Kyle Field is going to be, a dangerous place for Florida, a team that struggled against A&M last year in Florida, right? So I recognize that, but I think it's the quarterback, the ability to have a healthy DJ Lagway, which is still a question, versus an unknown at Notre Dame at quarterback. Like, we just don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I don't either. No one does. So I'm glad you said we. In fact, I don't even know if we watched that week 1 game, Notre Dame at Miami, Sunday night game, we'll all be tuned into it, got nothing else to do. Couldn't you see a situation like we do in college football every year where Notre Dame, even if they win, they struggle mightily to move the ball? They score 7 defensive points. Defense turns them over, sets them up for another field goal. They got 10 sort of non-offensive points. Maybe they tack on 10 offensively. They hang 20 on Miami. They win 20-16, but it's really sloppy. CJ Carr has like 120 yards passing, couple of turnovers, and they get out of there with a win, but you find yourself saying, boy, when we go up there in a couple of weeks, we're going to get after them. And then the entire 2-week buildup is how improved can CJ Carr be? What can he round into form? How much can they improve? Like, that happens every year. You get a result. It's 1 of 12. You get a result from a high-profile player week 1. Marcel could be the same way. They're just not playing Miami week 1. And then you find yourself for 2 weeks asking, all right, what's going to happen? And then you get 2 weeks later, it's a much different performance. Sometimes better, sometimes worse. You're just weeks 1 through 4, David, to me are like you're closing your eyes and you're throwing 4 darts at the board, and then you open your eyes. And those 4 darts, you kind of draw a circle around them. And whatever the middle of that collective circle is, that's probably the team. But you could have darts all over the place. You could have one in the bullseye. You could have one over here in your buddy's left arm. You don't know. You don't know. So, man, I'm looking forward to that one. That one's one. I think it'll grab the nation's attention, A&M Notre Dame. It'll grab the nation's attention by the time we get there. But people aren't. I think it's going to sneak up on people, though, looking and say, oh, A&M goes to Notre Dame this week. I forgot about that. It's going to be a good one.
All right, so this week in Texas, Ohio State, let me give you some thoughts and tell me if I'm jiving with you the way you think. Jeremiah Smith struggled against them last year, right, in the playoffs. I think he had, 1 catch, 3 yards. Now, it's a little bit different defense, but that was a more veteran Ohio State team. You could say the same thing about Texas, but the fact that I think Arch has experience compared to Julian Sayin and has played at least a little bit of big boy football and has been in Sark's system for now the 3rd season, to me, I'm just, maybe it's fear because it's Texas, but I think Texas is going to go to Ohio State and take care of business.
I do think Texas is going to win the game. It sounds like I have less confidence than you do. You've always been a bigger Longhorn fan than I am.
Okay, stop.
But I think The two things I'll say. First, you're right. Yes, broad strokes purposes, these are first-year starting quarterbacks. One of them has known for 2 calendar years at least this is going to be his moment. The other one's known he's known for 2 calendar years. One of them's known for 2 calendar weeks. And even then, if they struggle out of the gate, I could see Ohio State shuffling quarterbacks in this game. There's no world outside of injury where I see Texas doing that. The other thing, David, is I believe Texas has a big coaching staff advantage here. People hear that and they think, why are you saying Steve Sarkisian's greater than Ryan Day? Day just won a title. Well, I didn't say that. I said coaching staff advantage because you see Ryan Day lost 2 coordinators and Steve Sarkisian's not dealing with that. All right, third thing on this game, and the reason why I cannot have confidence on it, even though I do lean Texas to win the game and I picked them to win the game. I don't know this year that we will see a game that's more volatile or more high variance in outcome than this one. Meaning, find me an example where we'll have more raw talent on the field and more collective uncertainty on the field. Both of these teams are in the 80s in returning production rate. So that means there are ultra-talented 4 or 5-star kids everywhere, but a ton of them are unproven, which means you may get wild swings in consistency or execution. And you see, if you've got 2 MAC teams like that, okay, 27-20 versus 24-16, like those are your outcomes normally. David, I'm telling you, there are a lot of 27-24 type games that could result Saturday, but there are some 38-13 blowouts. Either way, Saturday, you could have someone -2, -3 turnovers. Remember that Bama-Oklahoma game last year? Bama goes into Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's up like 3 touchdowns, and it's like non-offensive type touchdowns. Bama just keeps turning it over. You can't ever predict that, but that could happen here. And if it happens, you could get a really lopsided score. This is not baseball. We score in 3s and 7s in this sport. So it could be really lopsided. So my joke all week has been everyone's going to look at this game and say, oh, either way, it's going to be a great game. I don't know that it's going to be a great game. It could be terrible. It could be wonderful, but it could be terrible. It could be a blowout. Either way. I was doing Dallas radio this morning. They said, who's more likely to blow the other one out? I said, it's equal parts likely. It's unlikely holistically, but it's equal parts likely. If you told me someone's winning 37-17, I don't know who it is, and I'm picking Texas to win the game.
Josh, when it comes to SEC teams starting a season, I typically pick the SEC team versus most opponents. I'm not sure what I think about. Actually, I think LSU is going to beat Clemson. We'll get to that in a second. But this Baylor-Auburn game, I'm leaning Auburn. Am I wrong?
No, I was leaning Baylor the whole spring and summer because I hadn't broken the game down. I was just looking at it. And then you hear all the quarterback uncertainty out of Auburn, and you just don't get great returns when you ask people. It's really up and down in camp. And so I started to lean Baylor. And but the more I broke the game down, the more I solidly leaned Auburn. They should have an advantage. Their offensive line should be able to impose its will over the span of 4 quarters in this game. And I'll tell you something else. If that gives Jackson Arnold enough time to get in a rhythm, Auburn's got a wide receiver room that can take the game over. And Texas defensively in many areas struggled last year, and I know they portaled guys, but the portal's not a cure-all. Even if you went and got the right players, it's week 1. They haven't played together. But even it's not like every portal move is an upgrade. That's what you convince yourself of in the preseason, but that's not the case. Recent history has shown us that even for the elite teams. Not everything turns out like Ohio State did with Caleb Downs, in other words. So that's what I think about Auburn from on the field. Now, if you still have turnover issues like you did last year, that's how Baylor wins this game. If you let home field sink its teeth into you and you go a bunch of 3-and-outs early and you're discombobulated, I mean, Dave Aranda knows way more about defensive football than I'll ever know. So he's sitting there knowing what they're going to try and do as well. And he's going to say, well, if they're going to beat me, I'm going to make them beat me throwing the ball. They're not going to run the ball on me, and I'll do whatever I have to do in terms of a heavier box to accomplish that. So they're going to be one-on-one matchups, and they're going to say, Jackson Arnold, you were terrible last year. Hugh Freeze, your offense turned the ball over constantly last year. We're going to try and force you to show us that you've rectified all those issues. And if you have, hat tip to you. We don't think you can. That'll be the dynamic, I think, Friday night. If they can go in there, if Auburn can weather that storm and just start to do what Iowa State did to Kansas State, which is run it for 2 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, 4 yards. Just keep doing that. Make it a boring game and get out of there and get home and then reassess. You got a couple of weeks after that. I do think Auburn's going to win that game. If they don't, David, it is red light, like flashing sirens alarm time for Hugh Freeze.
Josh, I think if Clemson played in the SEC with the same roster, we'd be talking about them. And they're getting a lot of love, but with more love. But everybody looks at who they play in the ACC and yada, yada, yada. I, for some reason, think LSU is going to go and win there, but I love the way Clemson is built. I like when teams are veteran teams. I like that Dabo has kind of evolved, but still sticking to what makes Dabo, right? So LSU, you have them at 8-4, which to me means you think that they're going to lose probably this opening game. So just give me your thoughts on the way Clemson is built and why I think you think LSU is going to lose.
Now, I'll tell you, we're talking at about 9:15 a.m. on Tuesday. If you're watching the replay, you should know that I don't have to predict this game on my show for another 10 hours or so. So this is subject to change. Okay. I lean Clemson in this game. Okay. I do. I could give you a lot of reasons for LSU. It's yet another one of those week one games where everyone wants you to just plant the flag and do like a Paul Feinbaum. It won't be close. I can't do it. I cannot do it in this one. No one needs to tell me about how poorly Brian Kelly and LSU have done in week one games. Guys, I've done the same thing you've done for the past 7 months. I know all this. I will say this about Clemson. I agree with everything you said. That is what college football is about in my perfect world, is about recruiting multiple classes, indoctrinating them into your way of doing things. That is called culture. Used to be a clean word. Now it's a dirty word, apparently. And you then reap the benefits of planting those seeds in what is hopefully fertile topsoil, and you find out what the crop looks like. That's the beauty of college football. The downside is Dabo has completely foregone using another advantage that has been afforded him, and that's the portal. He has just said, I don't want to use it. And they've barely touched it, which is fair. That's his prerogative. Okay, so now this year is a perfect, I think, referendum season for his approach and whether it's compatible at the high end, like the championship end, in the new world of college football. And that's not going to prove itself Saturday. It will start to bear itself out Saturday. The other thing I'm worried about with them that may not be such an issue in week one, but could be an issue over the season, is for all the returning production they have, I don't trust their depth. So they got to stay healthy. If they stay healthy, which hardly ever happens, but if they stay healthy, they could make a run at a national title, I think. But if you wanted to be a detractor on that, you could ask me, why do you believe in Clemson so much? Well, they got a lot of returning production. Well, what's the big game they won last year? And I'd say, I don't have one for you. SMU? Yeah, but they should beat SMU. No one gives you credit for that. It's like Penn State doesn't get credit for Boise and SMU in the playoff. They just want to know, did you beat Notre Dame? Nope. Did you beat Ohio State in the regular season? Did you beat Oregon? No. Oh, same old Penn State. So Penn State and Clemson are basically two sides of the same coin here in that they got it. They've built it their way. They've got a perfect opportunity, uncertainty everywhere else. They got returning production up and down the roster. Can you get it done? Is your best good enough?
Josh, great stuff, man. Can't wait to have some games this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it, David.
Later, man. Josh Pate here on TexAgs Live on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. Luke and I will just talk about stuff on the other side. We haven't even discussed what we're going to. You have any ideas what you want to talk about next segment?
Yeah, I got some ideas.
You got some ideas?
We'll talk about it off air.
No, I don't want to. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country. Okay, I'll talk to you. It's fine. Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're looking for a selection that won't break the bank, take a look at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're stocking up on new vehicles all the time, and their inventory is growing daily. But the real deal is they're south of those big city prices, no dealer add-ons, and what you see is what you pay, right? It's a great place to go, locally owned, Aggie owned and operated. They'll roll out the red carpet for you, and they have a lot of value when you purchase a vehicle from Caldwell Country Chevrolet because it comes with a free oil change for life. That's thousands of dollars in savings. As long as you own that vehicle, go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They'll take great care of you. And their pre-owned inventory is moving fast, which means you'll get top dollar for your trade-in. Just a short conversation away. Remember, we're talking about 15 minutes, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. A short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com.
All right, guys, let's talk about some new partners, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. They are an mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. I met with Sheldon and Danny over the last week, and they're awesome people. They really know what they're doing. They're proud to serve Bryan College Station with awesome services like IV hydration, Botox, and even some weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. And on a busy weekend, I know some of you guys might be partying a little bit too much. If that's the case, an IV can be one of the easiest ways to ensure you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals to make you feel better. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader range of clientele here in the Bryan College Station and Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about it, just call them up or text them, 979-217-1561. Again, it's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. It's our friends at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables.
Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Nick looked upset. Did I do something wrong? Okay.
No, it's a me error.
Oh, a you error. Okay. Well, you get circle of trust here. We love you here. So here's the deal. Here's the deal, guys. I see this text from Matt in Houston on the text line. You see it?
Oh, I'm looking at it.
Will you read it?
He said, and I actually had a YouTube comment that agreed with this.
Okay.
Man, I just don't see it with Florida. And someone on the YouTube page said the Florida hype has gotten out of hand.
Okay, here's why I do see it with Florida and why I can agree with them. I think their schedule is why people don't buy into them. You give A&M that schedule, you give Texas that schedule, right? If you give Texas their schedule, can you pull up the Florida schedule for me, Nick, if you don't mind? I think if you give Texas this schedule, people are talking about Texas being an 8-4 team.
Yep.
Okay? Let's see. LSU, potentially Miami.
They're going to have 3 ranked opponents in a row, potentially 3 top 10 opponents before they come play A&M.
And then they got, number 5, Georgia. They go to Ole Miss. They have Tennessee. I don't think Florida State's going to be worth anything, but that's a rivalry game at the end of the year. So I think if you give Texas that schedule, you give A&M that schedule, you give a lot of teams that schedule, I understand the apprehension. But talent-wise, and I know A&M went to Florida last year and kicked their butts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something they hadn't done in a while. I would be apprehensive because of Lagway's potential injury-prone nature, right? That's where I would be apprehensive. I think they can run the ball. I think they're going to be very strong on the offensive line. I think they're going to be very strong on the defensive line, right? Yep. And if Lagway is a top 3 quarterback in the SEC, his ability to change a game is why I worry about them coming to Kyle Field.
Yeah.
I would pick A&M today to win that game. And I don't know if I'm picking A&M to beat Notre Dame yet, but if there's a game that I think they win on the road, that's the one I'm picking, right?
Yeah.
I'm week to week. I need to see things, and I know I hate using that because we use it a lot, but I need to see how this team looks, not just in UTSA, but over the next couple of weeks before I'm definitively saying something. But I'm worried about the top level talent that Florida has, while recognizing their road here, especially getting to Kyle Field. What is it? 2 ranked teams right before they play?
3 ranked teams.
Okay.
Potentially 3 top 10 teams in a row.
What does that do for their psyche? Right. What does that do for their team? So I recognize it, Matt. I'm just saying, when you're really good running the ball, when you got a good offensive line, and you got a quarterback who is elite at the end of last season, we'll see how that translates,
Mm-hmm.
right? People are going to be able to prepare for him more. There's more film. That's the thing. That's why I'm higher on Florida than I was.
Yeah, I think for me, Florida and Missouri are on opposite ends of the spectrum, where I think Florida is super talented, but their schedule knocks them down a little bit for me in terms of where I think they'll finish. Whereas Missouri, I don't think is as talented, but because of their schedule, you almost have to pencil in that they're going to win 9 games. And so it's, if I saw Florida and Missouri play each other, I would say Florida would probably win 7 out of 10 times, but Missouri would probably be my pick to finish a little bit higher in the SEC. But because you get Florida coming off 3 consecutive top 10 matchups potentially, I think there is a question of what is that team's psyche if they are in late September and they're 2-3.
Yeah.
And then they got to go to Kyle Field.
Show me that schedule one more time, Nick. I just want to see the beginning, that there's the first 6 games, if you don't mind, because Madden might be right when we get to the game at Miami.
What if they're 2-3 going to Kyle Field?
At LSU? You know how I feel about playing at LSU.
Yeah, I mean, those are not layups.
So there's a possibility that they have lost 3 straight coming to A&M. There's a possibility, right? And if that is the case, I think, by the way, I don't have a season total for Texas, but I think they lose the Florida game. That's the one I think they lose. Mm-hmm. It's weird. And I think they win Ohio State. But if they have lost 3 straight, does that make them more of a wounded animal when they come to Kyle Field?
It's certainly possible. I just look at that stretch and see 3 straight physical opponents, and then I look at A&M and they've got Auburn. And Auburn and Mississippi State are not layups, but you've got 3 home games in a row leading into that, whereas Florida will have taken on 3 of the best teams in the country in back-to-back. And 3 games in 4 weeks with those tough opponents, and then A&M's got a bye week, Auburn, and then Mississippi State. They don't have to leave the state of Texas. You would assume they're coming off maybe momentum-building wins, whereas Florida could be trending downwards. I think where that game is placed, similar to how Josh Pate said he likes where that Notre Dame game is placed, I think if you're an A&M fan, you would have to like where that Florida game is placed, because of who they have to play before that and who A&M plays before that.
Now, look, we look at those rankings today. All that is going to change here in a couple of days, right? So it'll look different.
Yeah.
Let's hit a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little UTSA with Greg Luca, who writes for the San Antonio Express News. We'll chit-chat with him about what he sees from UTSA and the Roadrunners. Right now, we're talking Aggieland hydration and injectables. When you go out and party, when you go out and have a grueling workout, when you go out and just feel drained because you're sick, how about going to Aggieland hydration and injectables? Actually, they can come to you. If you went to the Troubadour Festival, you saw them there. They took care of people, but they're fantastic. Aggie owned and operated. They're a mobile IV hydration company that's been in town for now a couple years. I met with Sheldon and Danny not too long ago, and they're going to be coming by studio here soon too, but they're proud to serve this entire area with great services like IV hydration, Botox, and weight loss options. So if you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or a dehydration preventative, they can tailor a IV cocktail specific to your needs. So again, busy weekend, let them take care of you, because an IV can be the easiest way to ensure that you're getting all the necessary vitamins and minerals that you need. They want to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader clientele here in the Brazos Valley. To book an appointment or inquire about their services before an event, you can call them up or text them, 979-217-1561. It is Aggieland Hydration and Injectables, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas maroon and gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, "Hey, Dad, you look pretty good today." From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family.
As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. All right, let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Greg Luca is a UTSA insider for the San Antonio Express News, joining us here on the program. Greg, what's up, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thank you for having me on.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you making a few minutes for us. So the talk this morning about UTSA is about the offense. I think the way Coach Elko described them yesterday, that they were clicking at the end of the year. So tell me a little bit about their offense, what makes them work, and just what makes them a really dangerous offense. What, number 11 in the country last year?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was a story of last year coming into the season with so many new pieces on that side and a new quarterback in Olin Buchanan. And you just saw over the course of the year that they got some guys back from some injuries that had hampered them since training camp, and they got some experience with Olin Buchanan at the quarterback position, and they started to protect him a little bit better, and the whole group just kind of started to thrive. We finally saw towards the end of the season what it looks like when they have pretty much all their healthy pieces out there, and now that's what it's going to look like again coming into this year. So it obviously starts with the quarterback, and Olin's going to be probably most efficient in those short and intermediate routes. His accuracy, I think, is what stands out the most, but they have some speedsters who can stretch the field a little bit, so they might be able to hurt you vertically, and I think more than ever, you might see some 2 tight end sets from this team as well, because as much as they love the wide receiver group, they have 3 guys that they feel really confident about in the tight end room too. So I think they're going to be able to at least try to hurt A&M in a bunch of different ways. Now, how that works against, the caliber of athletes they'll see from Texas A&M is nothing like the groups that they faced last year when they started having some success. So we'll see how it translates, but at least in terms of within their league and the kind of teams they'll face more regularly on a week-to-week basis, UTSA feels really good about their offense.
Greg, how have they offensively looked against the top-tier teams? Obviously it's a step up in weight class, but have they had success moving the ball against top-tier teams?
Yeah, I think when they played against Tennessee 2 years ago, that was Owen's first real action. He came in the second half, and he looked really good. I think he completed something like 17 of 20 passes and kind of got them moving. Now, obviously, the game was kind of already out of hand at that point, so it's a little bit easier to get going at that stage. But last year against Texas, they didn't have a whole lot of success offensively. They only scored a handful of points, but obviously Texas was one of the top teams in the country. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here, but I do think that that's sort of a small sample size in terms of what they do against these elite SEC caliber teams. So it's hard to say for sure how that'll translate, but the small bit we've seen has not always been great.
I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I know that UTSA has moved on, but the whole DM/playbook thing that happened with Olin Buchanan, what came out of that? And maybe just a quick 20-second review of what was said.
Yeah, I guess it came and went pretty quickly. It sounded like, the Memphis player reached out to Owen. They had a connection from high school, and it sounded like the Memphis player at least attempted to share some things that would be valuable. But UTSA's perspective essentially is that what he shared was not particularly useful, and they didn't really interpret it and didn't go back and ask follow-up questions. And so it just didn't end up becoming part of the game plan. Now, whether that's true or not, it seems like the whole thing's kind of blown over. The commissioner of the league was going to let everybody kind of handle it internally, team punishments. And I don't think there was much that came out of it on UTSA's side. So that's sort of water under the bridge.
Talk to us about the running game, because I know they've got a couple different guys that can go, and one's more of a bruiser, one's more of a speedster.
Yeah, so we saw the depth chart come out yesterday, and you never know exactly how accurate that is, but it's probably a lot of what we expected, where Robert Henry is a returner who got the extra year because of the JUCO situation and is going to leverage it as well as he can here to sort of up his pro prospects. He's a 205-pound, really tough runner. It always takes an extra guy to bring him down, it feels like. So he's going to be the guy who gets the tough yardage. And then they have a redshirt freshman in Will Henderson out of Gilmer, who just was a track guy and showed elite speed in the high school level and has translated that some to his limited touches last year, where you see him get to the edge and break a big play. And so sort of remains to be seen if we'll see him as more of a standard, line him up in the backfield tailback, or if they'll sort of look for interesting ways to get him involved in the offense. But I think you'll see him touch the ball a handful of times.
Greg, the defense is revamped. I guess it's TBD on if it's an upgrade or not. What can you tell me about this defense?
Yeah, there's absolutely no starters back from last season. There's 2 guys who started maybe 4 games, and both of them, Owen Pee-wee they call it the money backer. It's essentially the nickel position, and one of their safeties, Jamarius Lewis, played a little bit last year, but everybody else is going to be new to the party. So it's probably more functional from your end to talk about the areas we're most concerned about. It's cornerback, where it seems like they've been kind of reaching for guys. They had one guy they lost to a season-ending injury, and one guy who was here in the spring and transferred out before they even got done with spring practice. That those two were the projected starters, and so they've been looking for new guys at that position. And then the pass rusher spot, we're not really sure what we're going to see there out of UTSA's guys. Looks like Cameron Cooper is going to get the start there, and Vic Shaw will be the guy behind him. But neither one of them has proven that they can produce at the level that we saw last year. Jamoya Robinson was the player of the year in this conference with a double-digit sack kind of year, and before that it was Trey Moore, who's transferred to Texas since then. So they've had elite guys in that pass rusher spot, and now they're going to have to try to figure out how they can supplement that without, at least coming into the season, the apparent guy who can produce that kind of level of production.
They feel pretty good about the linebacker spot with Shad Banks and the other gentleman's name is escaping me right now.
Kendrick Blackshire, yeah. So those are two guys who've played at the power conference level. Kendrick Blackshire started at Alabama and ended up going to Texas just for the spring, and has kind of gotten here and gotten healthy after an injury last year and gotten into shape. He's dropped about 30 pounds, so they expect that he'll be able to move sideline to sideline and maybe play like the guy he was recruited to be. And Shad Banks is an interesting story. He played at TCU, and the year they went to the national title game, he was just sort of getting his feet wet. The next year when they were not as strong, he was heavily involved, and then coming back last season, got shoved down the depth chart because of some incoming transfers and some guys coming back from injury. And so now looking for the opportunity to be a central figure and a leader on the defense again, has come here and sort of found that spot right away. It's never happened before that a guy who was new to the program has been installed in the kind of leadership role and given the number 0 jersey, which is a big deal around here and looked up to in that way. But it's expected that he's going to be able to come in and sort of be the centerpiece of that defense from day one.
Greg, what's the prognosis in Conference USA? How does UTSA feel about the squad? Where do they kind of rank in that conference?
Yeah, so the way the sort of hierarchy shakes out in the American right now, there's basically Tulane and Memphis are looked at as the top two teams, and then it depends how much you feel like Army and Navy can kind of reload and sustain what they did last year. But UTSA is kind of right there in that mix, in that like 3 to 5 range, and then after that, it's USF is a team that I think a lot of people have long highlighted as maybe that team's ready to break through. So I would say those are the groups to keep an eye on. But right now, it's hard to say because all these rosters turn over so much at the Group of 5 level. Maybe not the service academies; they're a little more consistent. But like Tulane and Memphis have all new guys, and you're just sort of guessing. But based on the level of talent they brought in, those are projected as your top 2 teams, and then UTSA is that next rung below.
So I know that Jeff Schrader was a hot name. He's still a hot name, but A&M potentially he was interested in that gig. Where do you think this is a long-term fit for UTSA? Do you still think that, depending on what kind of year they have over the next couple of years, that he's trying to go to a bigger school? Sometimes coaches like where they're at. What's your vibe when it comes to Jeff Traylor?
Yeah, that was the burning question. There was a lot of rumors a few years ago about Texas Tech, and I think at that time it seemed like, I don't know if whether he turned it down or if the interest wasn't just all the way there, but ended up getting a long-term extension at UTSA. And then I think obviously if something like Texas or Texas A&M were to materialize, that would be a dream come true for any coach, and especially for him as a Texas guy. So it just sort of remains to be seen whether he does see UTSA as a long-term fit. I think it is harder than ever in this revenue sharing and NIL era to win at the level he wants to win at a program that's not in a power conference. So I think the allure of a Baylor or something like that, if it were to open up, is probably stronger than ever. But there's a lot that he likes about UTSA, obviously, to have stuck out here as long as he did when there were certainly other offers on the table. So it's going to be, I'm sure, if they have the year they want to have, that this will be a question I'm answering a lot at the end of the season. But we'll have to wait and see. I do think that the way the House settlement has changed the way college athletics works, especially when you're a team at this level and it's just a struggle to hold on to your guys year after year, makes it more alluring than ever to go to a bigger place. But there's a lot of personal considerations within that too.
Greg, this was great, man. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Hopefully I see you this weekend.
Yes, sir. Greg Luca there, San Antonio Express News. Appreciate his time. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Gerrod Chadwell in studio. Talk a little women's golf. They're getting started soon. Let's talk Rollo Insurance. This is the Rollo Insurance studio, and everybody at Rollo's my friend. That's how it works. I walk the halls. They're like, hey, there's David. He works here, right? No, I don't work there, but they just know my specific situation, and they can know your specific situation as well. If it's Jackson, Jason, Keith, Morgan, you name it, the whole staff there is going to take amazing care of you because they want to know your individual situation. And when crisis strikes, you want to make sure that you're covered. And they do a wonderful job of taking care of their customers. They know my specific situation. They'll know yours as well. 60 offices in the great state of Texas, but their headquarters right here in College Station on Highway 6. Call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That number again is 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That is rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. TexAgs. Check them out. My buddy in studio, Gerrod Chadwell. What's up, man?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. I know last week you were here. I wasn't here. Happy to have you in here.
Happy to have you back, Nuño.
Thank you. So how ready are we?
We are ready as we're going to be because we leave tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll put the finishing touches on just some prep stuff today, but I'm excited. You know, it's there's a good trade-off with going to Pebble Beach versus starting this early. So it's just wild. I said this yesterday. It's wild to think that this tournament, you know, factors into postseason. So
this early.
So
how many? This is what, the fourth year in a row?
This is fourth year, but probably going to be the last.
Okay.
It's just kind of run its course, and it's getting more expensive by the year. And Finn Ewing, who helps put on the tournament, I think he'll do something more affordable closer to. He's from the Dallas Metroplex area, so I think we'll do something like that. But it's a great experience, and yeah, I'm ready to see kind of where we're at.
I'm going to ask this because I think I know you.
Yeah.
How much did the end of last season eat
God.
at you? And like,
yeah,
I just know, like, you knew it was a new team.
Yep.
But it still eats at you.
Every morning there's something on my vanity that reminds me of last year, and so
that's
I'm
on
ready.
purpose, right?
It doesn't take much, but in case I forget, it's there. But yeah, I'm ready to to get that officially behind us with the first shot on Friday, or just getting on site and starting to prep for, how we're going to attack that golf course. But yeah, it's, it was disappointing, but yet I would say, it's hard to replace your best player that leaves middle of semester. And, in all honesty, I think with that group, with just the lack of experience they had, I thought it was one of the best coaching jobs collectively by everybody involved that I'd been a part of. So for us to be that close and, just not execute on that last hole stings. But, I look back and it's what keeps you sane is just like, man, we did a great job to get them to that point. And they did a great job to get themselves to that point.
One of the things you said yesterday that caught my attention was, and there was two parts to it, maybe the most talented group of players you've had, but that's only part of the equation. There's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah, and no disrespect, that first group, I think became more talented as they went through, but, they were, they hadn't had much success before we got here, and then you bring some transfers into that. So it's not any disrespect to that group that accomplished a lot. It's just coming in raw, but that's just, we were the block T for final round, and talent is one of the ingredients to our recipe, and I think the room has that. But we've got to come together, and we've got to go through some hard things to be able to execute in those moments in April and May. So it's just in the gym this morning, it was just refreshing to hear how the bar is way higher coming in. And yesterday was a day off, and everybody was at the facility. So that stuff tells you you're going to be okay. But all the stuff that I think gels into having a championship run are choices that they make on their own outside of the time that we can dictate for them. So we're starting to see them make good choices together with organizing stuff together and how they're spending their time. And I think that's going to equate to a lot of good things.
And a lot of freshmen that can play at a high level.
Very high level. When
you have young players like that, I think in all sports, I think it's good for the veteran players because they see the young players are coming for them, right?
Yeah, like it's I mentioned yesterday, Kata Vanessa wasn't in qualifying because she was playing a tour event, but Kata finished 5th. So it's good for everybody. I think that was the one thing when Gio and I were hired here, we just tried to bring competition into a daily basis, and so we have that right away, and it just so happens to be younger kids, freshmen that I think have stake their claim, and hey, we're going to try and get a spot in this lineup early.
Kata had a good summer.
She had a good summer. V had a great summer. Didn't equate into a lot of wins, but had a great summer from learning and had really great moments. That freshman class had good moments. Sky and Mia played a lot. Kennedy played. Everybody played a lot, that goes back to the choices. So, we can't make them play summer events, and them choosing to play on their own time and be ready coming in can only help for us to put our best foot forward this weekend.
Talk to us about Columbus Day, the event on October 13th.
Yes, after a Florida home football win on Saturday, Monday, Columbus Day, we have our fundraising day, our Aggie Women's Golf Club Day, 4-person scramble format. We normally start around lunchtime. The girls will be on every other hole hitting shots, getting to meet them. We do a steak dinner afterwards and kind of help get to know them further, give away some things. And it's just an amazing day to able to see the girls in their element, get to know them on a personal level, but also up close, really see how talented they really are. And it helps us raise money to offset, any budget deficiencies that we might need to do some stuff around the team. So that is October, is it 12th, I believe? It's that Monday. So no excuses. It's a holiday, celebrating a big football win. Be there.
Hopefully we'll get you in studio a few more times before that.
Yes, sir. You will.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Give them to you as well. When we come back here on TexAgs Live, Jamie McCoy, talk a little bit about the tight ends, the game against UTSA, and more. It is TexAgs Live.
All right, we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's continue the football dialogue. Jamie McCoy joining us on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, the former Aggie tight end, and of course, great friend of the program, who will be joining us. I think. Tell me this on the air. I'm putting you on the spot. You're joining us on the Pick Six again, right?
Yeah. I'm not missing that, baby. I got to bring home the belt this year.
I was atrocious last year. Like, you don't get worse than I was. I think I finished last, if not second to last, but I was in the mix. But 2 years ago, I won it. So I'm going to hold on to a couple years ago. I'm like Jimbo. 2020 happened, baby.
Okay. I'm going to compete with you. I got to go for it as well.
So I know you were on with Nick recently. How are we feeling about the season? Like, based on all the things you've read and heard about some of the changes Coach Elko has done, how do you feel heading into the season about where this program is headed this season?
For me, I feel pretty good. I mean, I like the fact that we were kind of under the radar. Typically, when we're in the top 10 or top 15, for that matter, we kind of seem to feel ourselves a little bit. I know we want to win, but that just seems to be when the stakes are at its highest and we're up there already, we don't seem to have the best season for whatever reason. So I like the fact that we were kind of under the radar. I love that Elko is kind of taking back over the helm of the defense. I love that Klein has got more mature players and ready to run with the offense. And like I said, I love that the expectations are low. I mean, everyone's heard it. We're Texas 8-4, but I just got a feeling that, me, the eternal optimist. I got a feeling this is going to be A&M's year to come out and really shock some people. And like I said, I love that we're under the radar.
I want to remind the audience that the TexAgs is having a tailgate this Saturday from 3 to 5:30 for free adult beverages, provided by Rebecca Creek, Shiner, and La Casa Tequila. Food and drink for purchase by 1775 Barbecue and Catalyst Energy Drinks. We'll have music and yard games to enjoy before we beat the hell out of UTSA. See you there. Jamie, so when you're a player, okay, first game, I feel like any event that's like a big deal to you, you try to do so much day one, game one. Like, how do you kind of like, I don't know, not try to get overhyped or do too much, but still be that best version of yourself?
Really, it just goes back to the mentality that the coach puts on the players. And I think Elko has done it the right way, got these guys' minds focused and on task. Like you said, you kind of go out there and you want to go out there and start leading the stats and the polls and everything, but you got to kind of take it as it comes. Take what they give you is what I like to say. I like to see us go out there and be explosive and, win the game 60-0. But, that first game of the year, there's a lot of unknown. You don't know what UTSA is going to come out there and bring. You don't know how the offense is going to click, what they're going to run defensively. So really you want to trust all the training that you've done in training camp, spring ball, all of those things, and just have it culminate into putting your best foot forward. And I really feel like the guys are ready to do that. I really don't know what to expect with UTSA. I just want us to go out there and be aggressive and kind of fly fast and just be all over the place.
So when you look at, I don't know how much research you've done on the tight ends, but different types of tight ends and some guys that we know, like Theo has shown some signs that he's going to be a really nice player, can catch, can block. You look through it, Nate Borkature, like there's a lot of guys on this roster that can do different things, right? Nyblack, I'm super excited about his ability to be a pass catcher. What do you think about this tight end group?
I love it. And I love that there's so many guys that are viable to put their hand in the pile. We saw that week 0 game last week with Iowa State and K-State, and there were times I see Iowa State have 4 tight ends out there on the field. I don't know if we'll go to that, but I think we are very capable of doing that. And what that does is make the defense have to sub in a certain unit that I don't think too many defenses can stick with us man for man when we do have those tight ends on the field. So I love that we've got the blocking tight end, the pass catching tight end, Theo doing multi-purpose. I think that we got a lot of different ways that we can attack you, whether it be with the shifty, speedy receivers or putting the big boys in. So I think it's a matter of just having the best poker hand and being able to switch guys in and out. I think it's going to be a big benefit for us this year on the offense, really helping out the O-line as well.
When you look at that group in general, what do you think worked last year? What didn't work?
We blocked well. We weren't as involved in the passing game as I would have liked for us to be. I know Theo did some things early, but he kind of faded late throughout the year, and then towards the end of the season, the tight end just wasn't as available. I know we did a lot of blocking stuff, and when we lost Le'Veon, that kind of hurt our running game. But for us, between the 3-4 guys, because Keady's a guy that I really can't wait to see him get on the field as well. Between all those guys, we should be, in my opinion, I think we should be bringing in 10 catches a game between everyone. If we're able to do that and then sprinkle in the receivers, the running backs as well, and as well as being efficient running the ball, I like our chances this year against everybody.
So this is going to sound like the same question, but I'm going to phrase it differently. When you look at the pass catchers on this team, all right, so I'm going to include tight ends and wide receivers and the different looks that maybe these guys can get. And considering last year's team, I thought they struggled with getting separation. This doesn't feel like it's going to be the case this year.
Yeah, it doesn't. I love the addition of Craver, and I love KC Concepcion. I know we got a young boy making his waves. I don't think separation will be an issue, and like I said, I think what's going to be to our advantage is being able to dictate what type of personnel the defense puts on the field. So, again, going back to those big tight ends, if we're able to shift in and out quickly, or just we got so many versatile looks that I think separation won't be the key. It's really going to come down to Klein calling masterful games, our offensive line and our running game doing what they need to do, and then us sprinkling it in. When they expect to run, we need to pass. When they expect to pass, we need to run. So I think we got the personnel to be confusing for defenses, and I think we got the guys that are ready to make that next leap and do what we need to do to put A&M on the map.
Yeah, what do you think a vertical attack can do for this offense? Considering the offense was good last year, it did change when Le'Veon left, but the ability to stretch out the field, the ability to hit the short passes, the ability for the RPOs and what Marcel can do, can this offense be dynamic?
I think it can, and it's kind of two-part. We're going to have to be able to be vertical and go down the field, because that's going to allow some of that pressure to come off of Marcel. The more that we're able to, it's kind of, you wouldn't think that, but the more that we're able to attack downfield and get guys kind of on their heels, the better I feel like our run game and Marcel's legs are going to be able to be a benefactor for us. So, like I said, I think we need to we got to definitely hammer down the run game and let run be our number one focus. But at the same time, when these guys, when we do decide to attack and air it out, whether it be play action or just saying, hey, line it up, we're going to pass the ball downfield on you. As long as we're able to connect, I see it doing wonders for not only Marcel, but the offensive line and the offense as a whole.
Talking to Jamie McCoy here on TexAgs Live. All right, Jamie, let's talk about that offensive line, veteran group, right? Guys that have played a lot of football at A&M, should be the strength of the team or one of the strengths of the team. When I think of teams that I'm trying to build out of clay, right, I'm thinking about I want a veteran defensive line and a veteran offensive line, right? That's what I want. We got one of those for sure. We'll see how the defensive line, but just talk about that group and how they can be help the identity of the team, form the identity of the team.
Again, they like you said, they have got to be the anchor for us. A good O-line makes it, again, it's the best friend for the quarterback. It doesn't allow him to have happy feet. Love for him to be comfortable back there in the pocket. And then good O-line is obviously the running back's best friend. And I know that these guys are in close connection with one another. I just see us being able, again, like I said, with the receivers and the threat that we have, I think we got 8 viable, good, experienced offensive linemen. We had great guys that transferred and went other places, but the fact that we got 8 interchangeable guys, not only can we interchange our offensive receiver weapons, I love that we can kind of interchange that offensive line should we need to. And Lord forbid if an injury happens, we got guys that are ready and capable and willing to put their hand in the pile. So Offensive line just needs to, like you said, be that anchor for us. It's the most experienced deal on the team, and I see them leading the way. I love for us to be winning time of possession by 15 minutes a game, and offensive line is going to absolutely be the key for us to be able to do that.
Jamie, the running game, Le'Veon is healthy. That's Coach Elko talked about it yesterday. Ruben should be healthy. Like when you look at this group, again, we talked about the offensive line being the identity, but like when you have the season changed when Le'Veon went down, right? I mean, there were other issues, but the season changed. A healthy Le'Veon, a healthy Ruben. What does this running attack look like?
Oh, man, a heavy dose to knock you out is what I'm hoping for. I mean, I love hearing Elko say that Le'Veon was back and able and been going hard 2 weeks and ready to go. I mean, don't forget about EJ, Armani. I mean, I love that we're hungry and we're not. What's the word I'm looking for? We haven't done anything yet. And this is the perfect opportunity for these guys to step up as a whole, all four of them. I think everybody's going to have a chance to put their hand in the pile, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited, like you said, when we lost Le'Veon, it kind of took the air out of our team last year. And not to say that we go without injury this year, but I'm excited moving forward just to see these guys come out here and put it all on tape. I know this is Le'Veon's last go at it. We got a lot of we didn't really get to see a lot of Ruben last year. So I know he's excited. I know the whole team as a whole, the whole fan base. I know we're all excited to just see what we're going to be. I'm anxious. I'm nervous, excited. I'm all the things. So, I can't wait to see what the running backs do out there.
Jamie, what's your concern level, if you have one, with the defense?
Surprisingly, I don't have a concern. The way that I saw Elko come off of that field in that bowl game last year, it made me feel good, honestly. I was like, okay, if you're going to go back and take the realm, I know what you can do on defense. When he was here as a coordinator, I just remember whatever the team got in the first half, and that second half, it was going to be taken away. And for him to put that attention to detail in the game plan before we even go into the week, knowing that the defense is his baby, I'm excited to know that, hey, defense is going to be under control. We got so much leadership in that secondary. The linebackers are back. Not new and improved, but improved for sure. They got more synergy. And this D-line, surprisingly, even though we don't have as many guys with all this veteran leadership on the D-line, I think they're going to come out there and surprise us. I think a lot of guys are going to make a name for themselves and ironically end up with more sacks than we had last year. I'm excited for Elko to get exotic on his play calling. I don't want any of it this week. I don't want any of it next week. Save it all for Notre Dame. Hopefully we can be as basic as we can and come away with wins. But I'm very optimistic about the defense, especially knowing that Elko is taking the helm, which kind of lets me be optimistic about the offense, knowing that Klein, hey, if I'm focusing on the defense, you should be able to take care of the offense. And I think he's ready to show that he's grown and matured as a play caller as well. So all around, I'm excited.
Jamie, as you navigate through the schedule, who are some teams that have your attention? I assume the three top 10 teams on the schedule, but like when you look at that schedule, like where do you see the Ags making some hay? Where do you see some games that you're concerned about?
I think the first game where we make believers is going into South Bend and winning at Notre Dame. I have all the confidence in the world that we can do that. And then with them having a first-year quarterback, Elko is a lot like Belichick to me, where when he plays a guy that's not a veteran or familiar with the game, he can do a lot of things to confuse you. So I think that's not really on my radar, but I think we make a lot of hay nationwide when we go out there and beat Notre Dame in South Bend. The games that are on my radar, I don't want to do the LSU, all that. I want my get back with Auburn, and I want my get back with South Carolina. Both of those games could have boosted us tremendously last year. And the fact that we gave them away, I think the team, the coaches, the players, especially the fan base, we got a sour taste in our mouth for both of those two. And then especially with South Carolina, because, I'll say it till my dying day, that hit that Le'Veon towards ACL and everything on, I felt like that was a dirty hit. And again, Auburn and South Carolina, I can't wait to get my get back. It's going to be at home. I hope that it's a night game with the lights on. I'm excited for both of those two. I think those are the ones that I'm looking forward to getting some get back.
I feel like I've been overhyping Florida today, but what do you think about the Florida matchup?
I think it's good. I think they got enough troubles with their schedule this year. Depending on it, they all depend on Lagway. He's kind of shown himself to be, I don't want to put injury prone on him, but he always seems to be dealing with something lingering. So if he's at full go, I could see that game being a problem. I love that we're playing them here in front of our fans. It's not really on the top of my radar, but I definitely think that Florida could be an issue. So we can't take them lightly for sure. But I think that's one that we should be able to take care of.
All right, let's close out with this. Eternal optimist, you're feeling that this is going to be a better season than last year. So what does that mean? You think this is a 9-win team? Is this a team that maybe finds a way in the playoffs? Where are they?
Absolute playoffs. I'm going 10 wins.
What?
I'm going 10. I know it's going to be more than 8. So I got to say 9 for sure. But the optimism in me, I'm going 10. I don't know who the 2 could be. Hopefully we do more than that and ride this wave and just take it 1 week at a time. But yes, I definitely see us making the playoff run. I would love if we can get an extra playoff game at home. I think that would be awesome for the fans and just to put Texas A&M on the map recruiting wise. I just see it. You heard it here first. We're the college version of America's team.
How about this, Jamie? Win the games you're supposed to, right? Win the games you're supposed to, and let's steal one on the road against one of those top 10 teams.
Absolutely. I think that's very well in front of us, and I think we can do it. So I'm looking forward to it.
Appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Talk to you then. See you, David.
Later, bro. All right.
Giggle.
Jamie McCoy on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. All right, we'll hit a break here. When we come back on the program, Coach G will be in studio. A big win against UConn on Saturday? Yeah, it was Saturday night, I believe. Right now, we're talking Heritage Films. Farm and ranching families do think different. They're just you're not just working for today. You're thinking about the future generations to come. That's why you have your ranch there, right? If you saw Yellowstone, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's why Heritage Films created Farm and Ranch Films, where they documented timber operations in Washington, cattle ranches in Texas, and agricultural legacies across America. These aren't simply documentaries. They're cinematic time capsules that capture your unique relationship with your land. So if you're thinking in 20-year cycles or 100 or whatever it may be, Farm and Ranch Films preserves the wisdom and the work ethic and the values that make your agricultural family so special. Your legacy deserves this level of craftsmanship. Visit yourheritagefilm.com, click on Farm and Ranch, or call them up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. Say, I had a chance to claim for me. It is Heritage Films. Let's talk about a resilient team. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Coach G is in studio to talk about the Aggie soccer team. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back. I have, sent the rest of the staff the last few weeks, which is, I thought was important because we have so much new in what's going on with the program, and you're seeing the fruits of it right now with us being undefeated through 4 games. But last week, Tim Strader was in. Week 4, Seth was in. Seth Taylor was in, and it's funny because Seth came back afterwards, like going, he goes, I had no idea. He goes, that's legit. That TexAgs thing's legit. I go, yeah. It's like almost a Sports Center type of set and everything.
He told me, he was sitting there. He's like, I've listened to the show, but like on the radio, I didn't realize this is a real show.
This is a real deal. I was like, I go, yeah, welcome to Aggieland. And then of course Alyssa, you guys have met with before, and so it's been a lot of fun. I think a lot of people have been pretty enthusiastic about the way that we've been defending, which was a concerted effort for us to change. And then also, I think they can see the culture of the team is pretty darn strong. Tim Strader's done a great job with that, but really all 3 of those guys have been key in us just kind of recalibrating. We've been the most successful program, not just in Texas but in the SEC, which means we have a massive target on us all the time. And so when you take a dip, then all of a sudden people are out with the shovels to bury you, and it's neat to see that this group of players has stepped up and has really been, like you said, has been very resilient. We're just not giving up. We're not giving things away like we have a little bit in the past. And a big part of that is again, the other person on the staff is we're just more fit. I was commenting to you yesterday about your fitness. I think though that the key, one of the foundation of what our game is about is can you run?
Right.
Can you stick with people? And last year it was this game when we played Denver last year that was the and because they ran us into the ground, we gave up the lead and ended up losing 3-2 to these guys. So our new strength and conditioning coach Gerald Pena, our girls call him G Money. So he's been, I put a lot on him that, listen, we want to be able to run people to death. We want to be able to, if there's going to be late winners, it's us. They're going to be doing it because we're going to pound people. And so physically and just the capacity of the players to do that. Tim has done a great job of adding a maniacal defending attitude to what we do. But those are two key components to it. Now, again, we still have to clean things up. But Saturday night, the second biggest crowd in Texas A&M soccer history, we had almost 7,000. We only seat, and anyone who's been out at Ellis Field knows that we have the best facility of all the athletic department. Way better than Kyle Field. Way better than anything else you can think of. So it's we seat about 2,400 comfortably. So when you put about 7,000 in there, it makes it pretty rowdy and raucous, and that's how it was. And I think people could see that our passing this past game was super, and to be able to just kind of stick with it, had a kind of an unfortunate goal against us, but it didn't sink us. All it did was just refocused and came out and really took it to a very good UConn team that beat us 6-0 last year.
Right.
So for us to be able to turn around and flip that and get a win against a really good, well-coached team, I think it just adds to the belief that the players have in themselves.
Well, another reason I know this team is fit is there's been a couple years where you would give up the late goals. You're the one scoring the late goals. That means you are at your best when it matters.
Exactly. And can we use our our humidity to our benefit? Mm-hmm. Can we use these things that should be a real kind of a dagger to some teams coming in and not have an effect on us? So the funny thing is, so with classes starting yesterday, today will be the first day that we're training in the middle of the afternoon. We go to our regular practice time, which is at 1:30. So we've been training in the mornings, which is what you'll find a lot of professional teams do, and then we were doing evening sessions lighter as we were going through our preseason. So it's this will be the next ramping up of it, is just kind of the heat acclimation, continue to get the heat acclimation, because we've been trying to play our games. For people who have wondered why are we playing at 7:30, all of these kickoff times are 7:30. Well, it's so the fans, we can cool it off a little bit for the fans. Once that sun starts to hit that horizon, it's quite pleasant, and it's a great setting out there.
Let's talk a little bit about Taylor Jernigan and her growth. She had the go-ahead. She's been a player that I remember the first time I saw her play, I was like, she's got some potential. She's going to be a really nice player, and she's been doing it.
She is, and she's a wonderful person. First and foremost, great family. Taylor is a great example of when you put in the work, you get the output that you want. And and she comes out of San Antonio. She was the best player in San Antonio. And sometimes when you're the best in your environment, you don't really know how good you can be. And we've always looked at her as being, number one, she's a very good leader within the culture of the team. But like, hey, what's your body language look like? What's this? And she's taken a lot of that into account. And this past weekend, like I said, she her best performance, I think, and it's directly tied to her fitness and her attitude of that she's going to go out and punish other people. She's not going to allow the game to happen around her. So hats off to her. She's been awesome. And same thing with Kaylee Noble, who's on the All-America watch list as a transfer coming in from Fullerton. She probably her best performance was on Saturday night. And again, it's just part of understanding the environment that you're in and being able to kind of take off any kind of self shackles that you might have so that you can just go after things wholeheartedly.
What do you attribute to the success defensively? I know it's been a focus, but like, what have you seen from this unit that makes them better defensively?
Well, I'll give Tim a lot of credit, just because it's not just the back four; it's the whole team, because we defend from the front.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to pick your pocket, in your bedroom, and not have to chase you down the street. So with the things that we've done, is just to be more physical, to be in there and be what we refer to as touch tight. If you're not making a threat to the person on the ball, then there is no pressure on that person. Mm-hmm. And we want there to be exerted pressure, physical and psychological, on everyone that we play, so that if they do bobble something, if they do have an error, that we can punish them for it.
Talk to us about Denver.
Well, Denver, like I said, last year, they were that was the game where we went, we might be in trouble here, because we weren't fit enough, and you can't. It's hard to get your fitness. You know how this is. You can't get fit in 2 weeks. Right. You can't go to the gym and at the end of the week, come out looking like Schwarzenegger. You're going to have to put a lot of time and a lot of focus into everything. Well, DU is a team that is really well coached. Juliana Sitch, who's their coach, is a former teammate of Alyssa with the Chicago Red Stars in NWSL. She won a national championship as Division III men's coach. So you don't often see women getting the opportunity to be a head coach of men's teams, and then let alone go out and win the national championship. Yeah. And so she's a Chicago girl living in Denver, and has started to take that program, which has always been at the top of the Summit League, and is now kind of putting them into a kind of a professional championship mode. When they were here last year, I was just kind of watching the players away from the field and what they were doing, and just kind of, the rolling out, the extra things with bands that the kids were doing, because obviously it had been instilled in what their culture was. And I was like, okay, this is not going to be a pushover. Then of course it wasn't. So we go up there, they're undefeated. It's their home opener. It's going to be a doubleheader with their men's team. I think their men's team is ranked number 4 in the country. So this is not, we're not walking into a cakewalk. We're walking into a potential snake pit for us. And these are the challenges that we need, because we have one of the hardest schedules in the country, especially once the SEC portion of it starts. So again, part of the belief that we need in our players to have in themselves is knowing that they can overcome tough circumstances. They've done it so far. They've flipped 2 results from last year, the Baylor game and the and the UConn game. Now, can we do it again? Can we go in there and make things right that were wronged last year?
Coach G, good luck. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Appreciate you. When we come back, a little Tyler Shaw from KBTX. It's TexAgs Live. All right, so typically it's the KBTX roundtable, but when it's one, it's the KBTX chat. Tyler Shaw in the
There we
house,
go.
sports
Chat on
director.
a round table, sure.
But sometimes we'll have a roundtable as well. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Getting ready for football season. It seems like it comes quicker every year, but
Yeah. This one felt like it took a while to get to it, though.
Maybe it's because we had a little longer of an off season.
Yeah, that's why. And the way the off season started.
The way the off season started and everything. So yeah, there's been a lot of anticipation and build up. You're right.
So your department is a little different. New season, new staff.
Yeah, pretty much. We're starting a clean slate here. We got 2 new reporters. They're great. Jair Brooks. He's from New York, coming from Midland, Odessa. So he's kind of past 4 years been in Texas, kind of used to being in Texas. Aaron Patterson, another reporter we just hired, also from New York. So we have some weird New York to KBTX pipeline right now.
Yeah.
Went to school in Alabama, covered Arizona most recently. So she says she's thrilled to be back in SEC country. She's had some fond memories of traveling around SEC towns, and so yeah, it'll be fun.
Let's talk about this football team as they get ready for UTSA. What's your confidence level offensively for this team?
Offensively, this is probably the most confident I've been heading into a season.
Really? Okay.
Maybe since I've been. I mean, yeah. I mean, the last few years, usually my biggest concerns and question marks and asterisks were always on the offensive side of the ball heading into the season, and mainly that had to do with the health of the quarterback. Just the past 4 years. But this is the most confident I've been, just from what I've seen. What Colin Klein showed last year, the continuity that returns, what we know we're getting in the run game, I don't think the offense is really going to be a problem this year.
All right. So then what's your confidence level when it comes to the defense?
Still confident, but not as confident.
Okay.
And that's just to say there's more unknowns. There's more to prove. The secondary still needs to prove themselves. While I do think they're going to be better, the defensive line I think is really deep, but they're going to need to prove themselves just because there's going to be a lot of guys that need to step up that we haven't seen a whole lot of. So there just needs to, and now with Mike Elko as your head coach and him kind of taking a bigger role joined with Jay Bateman, that gives me the confidence that things are going to be better, but we just need to see it in a game atmosphere.
Have you, I'm sure you've already started your prep when it comes to UTSA. What have you learned about them? Where are they dangerous?
Offensively, with their skill positions. A lot of running backs returning. All of Olin McCowan, their quarterback's targets are basically returning. Olin McCowan himself, I think, is going to have a great year at quarterback. One of my favorite targets they have is a College Station kid, Houston Thomas. The College Station wide receiver.
Coach talked about him yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. Had a lot of high praise for him. He's on the John Mackey preseason watch list. People think he's going to have kind of a breakout, a really good season. So that is what they have and what is known. What's unknown is they lost all of their starting defense. So that's A, tricky to prep for, but B, with no continuity on the defense and with my confidence level in A&M's offense, that's going to be a very, very tough matchup for UTSA.
Yeah, and I think the A&M defense returns a lot of guys. Yes, I know the defensive line is different, but you've got some veterans coming back, Will Lee, Tyreek Chappelle. I mean, I think there's some, obviously the linebackers.
Right. Well, and I think as throughout the offseason, I've talked myself in, when thinking of predictions and, how good is this A&M going to, I've kind of talked myself up because of the returning experience and because of the veteran presence on this team. Because in college, you can't quantify how important continuity, veterans, the returning experience is, especially in this age when you have the transfer portal and everything.
All right, so what's the 3 big questions you have about Texas A&M this year?
So number 1, is the secondary shored up? Is the communication better back there? Does the secondary, does it just look like an overall better unit? Number 2, can they limit those big plays, especially the run defense? Because for several games last year, they played great defense, but you give up that 80-yard run, and that's what kills you. Do they limit those big plays? Do they keep that contained? And then number 3, how comfortable is Marcel Reed now with his new weapons? Really his first year going through fall camp as the starter, but kind of, he did enough he started enough games last year. This is kind of year 2 of, him, being the guy. How much more comfortable is he in the pocket with his new receivers? What's that chemistry like? Those are kind of the 3 questions I'm looking at.
All right, so that's a macro point of view of them, questions for the season, but let's kind of zero in on this game. Maybe trends or 3 things that you're looking at this particular weekend.
For this game, I'm looking at will Desricks kind of, I guess that's also kind of one of the players I want to look at, but what will Desricks look like? And because there's been a lot of talk of, the secondary stepping up, how much better they've gotten. What is he like in coverage? We know Willie is a known. We know what he's going to bring. What is everybody else in that secondary, specifically Desricks? How much has he improved? I want to see for this game, limit the turnovers. Marcel Reed, we've seen and we've heard that the leaps that he's taken. Can he manage this game, playing some clean football? Yeah. And then how well are they at their third down defense? Now I don't think Mike Elko is really going to just unleash his playbook and we're going to see all these exotic blitzes. I think that will come throughout the season. He's not going to do it all on week 1. But what do we see differently a little bit on third down defense?
Okay. And then I almost feel like these questions are similar, but we'll try to make it feel different. Like, give me 3 players you're spotlighting. Desricks is one of them.
Yeah, so Desricks was one. I want to see what he's stepped up to do. Casey Concepcion, just because he's making his debut. We've seen him in the spring game. We've seen him at fall camp, but this is his debut in the maroon and white. I think he will be kind of that wide receiver 1. Some people are saying, is this going to be the first year that A&M has a 1,000-yard receiver in several years? I don't know, and that's just because of how good the run game is. But what do we see from Casey Concepcion? Does he stand out as that clear-cut, this is a star, this is your receiver? And then Cassius Howe.
Yeah.
We saw what he was capable of last year, but with all the talent that A&M had on that defensive line leaving, he's kind of stepping up. Is he going to be that guy? Does he get to the quarterback? And I guess that's another thing I'm looking for in this game. Does A&M get to the quarterback? They got to the quarterback quite a bit last year. They just didn't bring them down. There was so much talent there, just not the statistical production all the time. Do we see a difference in that this year?
I am curious on how they do against the run because I think UTSA can run the ball.
Right.
And that is a question mark how they do against the run. And honestly, I want to see how they use the tight ends. That's not necessarily what I'm spotlighting, but I do want to see what looks different because we know the defensive line is going to look different because of personnel and maybe how they're going to attack. We think the secondary is going to look different. How do they incorporate those tight ends?
We've got a lot of them.
Yeah.
Too. I'm curious of what the rotation looks like. How many do they use? How often are they used? How much are they spotlighted in this offense? Because there's so many different weapons and different ways you can game plan with this offense. So it'll be interesting how they unleash that week 1. You're right.
Tyler, the first of many. What's the plans for this Saturday? What do we got broadcast-wise?
So we got Aggie game day, 10 a.m., live from Aggie Park. So that'll kind of set our stage here on game day. UTSA kickoff at 6 o'clock. And then we've got post-game coverage, everything 10 o'clock KBTX. We got our Saturday extra coverage, kind of extended sportscast. But yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah, man.
It's finally here.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
Tyler Shaw, first of many. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back with Around the SEC. It is TexAgs Live. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper. Pure results is Catalyst.
I'm not used to the new camera. I'm sorry, Nick. It's on me.
Hey, all it took was that one segment. Then you figured it out.
Yeah, but
You
I
got
still
it.
don't. I feel awkward. Like I don't know.
Dog and you like move where you put their food
crate?
and water,
Oh, yeah.
or the crate, and it's like they're
like I don't know. Like I'm
They
used
tur-
to
they
like
turn
that.
their head
but
sideways.
we've changed some of the camera looks. By the way, this is around the SEC, brought to you by the Jackson Group. Believe it or not,
Around the
we have new
TexAgs
logos.
studio.
What?
I said around the TexAgs studio.
Around the TexAgs studio. So anyway, let's do around the SEC. Luke, I told you this was going to happen. Rashul Faison is eligible for
called it.
South Carolina. I knew it was going to happen because I'm smart. No, he's the running back transfer to South Carolina that they're asking a lot of questions about because he didn't have the eligibility. Other people were becoming eligible,
and they
allowed him to
created
practice.
eligibility. Well, that's what AG is going through as well. Like you're allowed to practice as long as everything else is in order school wise. You can practice with the team, you just can't play.
Right.
So, maybe let's hope that another guy whose name starts with an R also gets some eligibility from the NCAA. Maybe they were going alphabetically, and Rashul is right next to Rashawn.
Yeah, so South Carolina will have all indications, pretty good running back who did it at a lower level, but he's not Rocket Sanders, but he's pretty good.
But he's closer to Rocket Sanders than
what they
would have had without him. Yeah.
And he's a guy that a lot of programs wanted at the running back spot. So that just tells you the kind of level of running back that he is. What else do we have, guys? I don't know if Nick or...
Yeah, I got something to chew on before we go today, and I'm sure Luke can weigh in on this. Did you see all the Dave Portnoy stuff? He's banned from Ohio Stadium.
Yeah, I saw that
to
on
broadcast.
TexAgs.com. Shout out to the message board who sometimes gets to the stories before I see them online.
Yeah.
So why? Why would they ban him? I
mean,
think that's
just
a
'cause
terrible look.
He's a
Well,
troll. But
Ross Bjork came back and said that they didn't ban him, that it's something with his Big Noon kickoff contract because he's apparently going to be on the set, but not the set when they move into the stadium. So Ross is trying to play it off as this is a Big Noon thing, and we didn't actually ban him.
So
I'm maybe Barstool.
I'm a little confused. So
Barstool was claiming that Dave was banned.
So they do that on purpose.
I'm thinking maybe they did that to, I don't know, get some engagement, get some more hype and some. Of course, it's a Michigan fan trying to paint Ohio State in a bad light. You would do that for your rival any day. But I don't know what to believe because their two sides are saying two very different things.
I have mixed emotions with Barstool.
Same here.
A lot of their stuff is good. I just don't like their style sometimes, right? But I think Dave he's a legitimate, talented CEO or whatever he is. He's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
I'll say that. What else, Nicolas?
No, that's really all I had to
That's all you
bring up.
have?
Yeah.
I know that Luke's got something for us.
My thing was to comment on what Nick had. We were just talking backstage. Is that appropriate to call it backstage?
Yeah, we should
calling it. We were
the fishbowl.
The fishbowl. We were in the fishbowl, and I just looked at what was on Nick's screen, and I was like, okay, we're going to talk about Dave Portnoy. What if I read a YouTube comment? Or
please do.
Let's see.
Why are you scratching?
Rooting for Baylor, Ohio State, and Clemson this weekend. That's
rooting
what,
for Baylor over Auburn?
Brad Duncan says. Do you agree?
Brad, I'm actually rooting for Auburn. Okay? So I have this, and I have to, you guys know, if you've watched this show long enough, you know how I am. I'm very emotional when it comes to Aggie athletics, okay? So there's a part of me that always wants the team that A&M is going to face to lose because it makes me feel better about our chances against that team. But the smart play is to hope that the teams that you play win their games.
Yep.
Because then when you beat them, it matters. So, for instance, Miami, Notre Dame. I grew up a semi-Miami fan. We need Notre Dame to win that game and maybe win it convincingly. So if A&M goes to South Bend and takes care of business, it feels better. Auburn, you don't want to lose to an Auburn team that's terrible in overtime like last year. You want to beat an Auburn team that's really good. Obviously, you always want to win.
Right.
But so I want Auburn to win that game. A&M doesn't play Baylor. Who else is on there?
Ohio State, Texas.
Of course I want Ohio State to win. Of course. I don't care if Texas goes 0-12. I want them, I do care. I want them to go 0-12. And the other one was?
That was it.
No,
Just those three. Clemson.
I'd like to see Clemson win because I like Dabo. I'm a Dabo kind of guy. But for A&M, again, I use that same recipe. What is better for A&M? to beat a top 10 LSU team on the road at Baton Rouge for the first time since what administration? Let's go,
Who was in the
LBJ?
late 90s, mid 90s?
No, you really got to dig deep, David. Give me something really good.
You want something good?
Yeah.
Eisenhower.
There you go. That one hasn't been used.
I believe that was 1956 to 1960. Am I right? Is that right? I think I'm right.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I mean, I don't know if he was a two-termer or a one-termer, but he was in the late 50s. How about that? All right. Are you Googling that or are you just reading other messages?
No, just a notification.
Oh,
Carry on.
Thanks. Yeah. That's why I turn off my notifications, unless it's from my parents or my family. All right. They are my family. Tomorrow on the program, I don't think I have enough time to tell you. Peter Burns, Recruiting Country, Max Wright, John Harris, and Pablo Escobar. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you mañana.